Hey guys, want to welcome you to another one of our live editions of Halftime Chat. Um, I think those of you who have seen over the last couple of weeks, that I've been really enjoying our live editions, and so tonight's no exception. We've got the original hip hop band out of New York, Brooklyn. We've got Stetsasonic with us today, and right now we've got Bobby Simmons, we got MC Delight, and we got Daddy O. We should get Wise later on, but welcome, the fellas. Welcome. I'm Namdi. I'm out here in the UK, and I'm really honored to be able to um, interview you guys. We're going to talk about your new album, which it's called Here We Go Again. I got a chance to listen to it and I was really impressed. But we're going to go through that as well. But anyway, I want to welcome you guys. How are you guys doing?
Doing
Doing
okay,
great,
man.
man. Thanks for having us, man. We happy to be here, man. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah, we are happy.
yeah. Well, I appreciate it. I've got I've got a friend of mine, Malik, who is just joining. Okay, who is this? Is this? Yes.
Who
Okay.
that, Malik? That's Malik.
Oh, you know.
What up, Malik?
Now, why can't I see as clearly?
Oh, you know Malik. Okay. Okay. Yeah. He was good. He interviewed me recently, and I said to Malik, you want to come on and we'll reminisce about the old, but we're going to really focus on some of the new stuff as well.
Yeah,
But
we
yeah.
needed a resident hip hop expert. So that's me.
But one of the things
Why I said his link is not working. It's working for the rest of us. Hey, Darlene. I know Darlene's in the chat. Can you send Wise the link again? Because he said the link's not working.
Yeah, it should be working. Yeah. But anyway, you know what, guys? As I said, what I'm going to do today is just do a little overview about where you guys have for those of us who might not be familiar with Stetsasonic, just an overview of where you guys are from and started. We're going to go into the new album, and then we're going to be able to get questions from those who are watching to talk about some of the old stuff and some of the trends that you set up. But just to start off with, can you just individually, I've just called your names, but I can start with you, Bobby, and then probably Delight, and then Daddy-O, introducing yourselves, where you were sort of born and raised, and
Okay, well, I'm the Sets Funky drummer, Bobby Simmons, born and raised right here in New York City, Brooklyn, New York, Brownsville, East New York. Shout out to my Brownsville people. Smoother Hustler, what's the deal, baby? We on the way.
okay.
And I'm the rhyme reader, MC Delight, and I am a BQ baby. That means Brooklyn, Queens. I was born in Queens, half my life in Brooklyn, half in Queens.
Okay, so do you, if you hit a feature with LL and Nas, you kind of claim Queens, and then then you come back to
Oh yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep, just
Okay.
like the BQ weed.
Yeah, I said it on now y'all, the first single from the new album, Now Y'all Giving Up Love. I said East New York, but we Amity and Fox too. So the Fox is
Right,
for Delight,
yeah,
the Amityville is for Paul. I'm the
yeah.
Ebony Chief MC Daddy. I'm from East New York through and through. Shout out Big Row and Tut. You know how we do.
Okay. Do you know one of the things? Okay, Malik, do you want to introduce yourself? I know you're not part of Stetsasonic, but at least people to.
All right. Yeah. What's up, people? This is Malik 16 from the show F a Rap Critic, where we always try the only way to review classic hip hop. I created a whole system for reviewing classic hip hop albums so we can end all the barbershop debates. I'm just here as a fan of the culture, fan of these legends here. I'll interject some of my personal, Stetsasonic connections and moments as we go through. But yeah, I'm just here. Happy to be here with y'all.
It's good.
Yo, that's a dope name, man. That's a podcast, F a Rap Critic.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
dope.
Yeah.
That's a dope name, bro. That's dope. That sounds like some daddy-o stuff, man.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
always down to F a rap critic, man.
There we go. There we go.
I think
Here we
part
go
of
again.
here we go again. Yes,
Here we go.
but you know what? So I could say this. So I'm born here in England, but my parents are Nigerian. So in the mid '80s, we moved to Nigeria, and I went to high school there. And so we got our music sometimes from the UK. So it'll come, you guys will do stuff in the US, and then it'll go to the UK, then it'll go to Nigeria. And I would say that probably um, the first time I've heard of you guys in parts where um, Prince Paul was in, Me, Myself, and I, when he does the introduction, he says he's the DJ of Stetsasonic. So who's
Mhm.
Stetsasonic? You know, and then Self Destruction was a massive hit in Nigeria. And as I said, one of my guests will talk about a lot of stuff. You talk from the UK, from the US, but you don't recognize how it translated not just in the Europe, but also in the motherland in Nigeria and the rest of Africa. And so in Nigeria, I mean, seeing because we're big Heavy D fans, and we remember KS1 and Kumo D was big. So I know David, you featured there. Who else was on? Who else had a verse on it? On Self Destruction.
It was
Light, Just Ice, D Nice,
Oh no,
Public Enemy is
from
at
your
the
crew,
end.
from your crew.
Oh, we own more real estate on Self Destruction than anybody else.
yeah.
Yeah, if you was to time the record out, there's more Stetsasonic on that record than everybody else. Even though I guess second would probably be Boogie Down Productions because we got D Nice and Chris. But four of us, is it four of us or three of us? Three of us are on that
It's
record.
three.
Yeah. So the light starts off. No, four of us. It's
Yeah,
four.
4. You and
The
Wise.
light, the light starts it off in the middle uh after
KRS One.
MC Light after MC Light is me and Wise do a verse together, and then after that, after Heavy D, Fucon does a verse.
Okay.
So all of us that because Bobby be trying to rap sometimes, but all of us that rap, all of us that rap are on that record.
Okay.
Bobby be trying to rap sometimes. I'm just that funky drummer.
Hey.
Shout out to Prince Paul for my debut.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is wise. It's just the light. It seems if you've got two cameras on, or does somebody has your name on it.
Oh, I got two.
Yeah, you got
Hold
two,
on.
man.
You got
So
two cameras on, Delight.
Yeah,
you
what's
can
going
decide
on,
which one
D,
you want to
man?
use. You can just use.
What's happening right now?
Yeah, what are you doing? You doing a show pump? What are you doing?
What you doing?
We had two of
What's
the
going
same.
on, man? Now
You got two
they
phones.
both say MD.
Okay. Okay, you can put back your camera then.
But we go. He'll chop
Okay.
back in. You can go ahead.
Okay. Don't worry. Okay. So that was just sort of an instruction. I guess the question now is because we're going to go into Here We Go Again, and I wanted to at least start off with the album, and then, as I said, we'll go back into some of the other stuff. Um, okay. It looks as
Still
if
got two.
okay.
Yeah, you
Okay.
still got two. Now you echoing and all that.
That's
Now
right.
you
We've
won.
got the one. So
There you go. Now you won, bro.
It's like
After-
you not driving while you on this, are you? You be safe, brother.
I know, right? Hey, get out the way!
Now, see, look. You start driving. As soon as you said the light, you're not driving. Boom, he's out.
I know, right?
I'm just looking out for a brother, you know.
I know,
Yeah.
right? I hear you, Malik.
That's right.
Malik don't want them cops. Hey, get out the
I know.
okay. So people might think it's been a long time. You guys were, after 91, and then you sort of disbanded. How did you guys decide to come back and put up an album? Here We Go Again now.
All right, so Bobby, let me
Well,
just say that, and then you answer the question. But let me say this:
okay,
according
okay.
to my and Malik, you should check this out for us. According
Word.
to my sources, 33 years is the longest hiatus between albums, period, all the way across the board. And if that's true, then Guinness owes us a record. I asked my friends about Steely Dan, the Stones. They said none of them took 33 years. I just wanted to say that. Go ahead, Bobby. You can
Yeah,
talk about
yeah. So check that for us, Malik. We need your info on that. But we was able to come together, put together this album, man. We headed over to the Netherlands. We actually was preparing for a few dates out in Europe, and when we stepped into the Netherlands, before we head out, we was rehearsing. So Daddy said, "Yo, man, yo, Kevin just sent us his track, man. It was gonna be for my album, but I told him this track, it sounded like a Stetsasonic track." So we listened to it and we was like, "Yo, it's kind of funky." So we said, "Yo, why don't we do the lyrics to No BS Allowed to this track?" And we did it once we went over to the Netherlands, and the audience reception to it was great. So how we felt was like, "Yo, instead of doing No BS Allowed lyrics to it, let's just do some new joints to it." And when we came back home after the Netherlands, we started on the album right there. I got on the phone with Daddy O. I said, "Yo, let's get everybody together. Let's get this album moving." And we started. And the first song we started was Now Y'all Giving Up Love.
Okay. Okay, we've just got Wise.
Here's
Wise
Wise.
and Delight. Look at that. They both got there.
Wise and
What happened is
Delight.
Delight drove over there to Wise.
What's up, fellas? What's going on?
Wise.
Lito. What up, Lito?
Yeah, I was trying to get it on my laptop, man, but I gotta use my phone because it wouldn't go through, man.
Okay,
That's
I'm
what
not
they
sure.
make phones for, man.
I don't like to use my phone, man, because it looks so tiny, man.
Yeah, I'm using my laptop. I'm surprised that has happened. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah.
Hey,
Okay.
if I'm on two channels,
No, you
then
good now.
I'm
You
good.
good
You
now,
good
brother.
now?
Yeah, you good now, brother. Don't change nothing, man. Don't
Yeah.
drive nothing. Stay where you at.
Don't put your foot on the gas.
Hold it.
But why 32? Why so long though? Because as I said, you'd probably think, especially during the 90s when hip hop, we thought about the whole Rough Rider and Death Row and all that. So you could and Wu Tang. So it was like, okay, that was prime for hip hop. Why then from 91 after you released Blood, Sweat and No Tears, it's like we don't hear nothing, even though you haven't officially disbanded anything. Nothing comes in between that time to then. I mean, that seems like a massive time.
I think it is. I think part of it, a lot of it is the unsung. TV One just did an unsung on us. So the unsung answers a good amount of that, probably at least about 65-70% of that. I think in hindsight, uh there was a shift going on in hip hop, and this is just Daddy-O. The other guys could speak on this, so don't hold them to this. But I think that there was a shift in hip hop, and I do think that there was a figuring out, right? Like we did records. There's been stuff that's been released. We did some stuff on I forget what that unreleased thing was, but we did a couple of records here and there.
People in your
And
neighborhood. People in your neighborhood.
all during that time, we were messing around with records. We were messing around with ideas, but I think that there was at least the way I see it, there was some figuring out to do in terms of what ended up happening. You know what I mean? Like from my perspective, even the real reason that I stopped listening to New York rap in the 90s is New York rap had changed and everybody was tough guys. Everybody was shooting, everybody was drug dealers, everybody was all of that kind of stuff. And I almost feel like it's a blessing for us because I mean, if we would have talked about any of that, we would have talked about robbing the drug dealers. But I mean, we wasn't no drug dealers. You know what I mean? We was way tougher than them. You know what I mean? So it's just an interesting concept. You know, like I said, we were just figuring it out. And I think to bring it full circle, I think listening to Here We Go Again talks about how we figured out the hip hop landscape. You know what I mean? As people, as men, as a band, like all of that. You know what I mean? That's what I think. You know what I mean? I don't think that there was any fear in making records, but I do think that there was that. And then, you know, and then real life kicked in. Real life kicked in for a lot of us. We were signed to a label. We weren't independent like E40 and them. You know what I mean? So, you know, a lot of what we did, I'm not saying it wasn't our fault, but a lot of what we did depended on what the label had done, because that's the way all of the 80s groups were.
Hey,
Right? Us,
yo,
Houdini,
Daddy, yo, you in
everybody.
the Matrix.
Yeah. What happened?
He said Daddy-O's in the Matrix. No, he's not. We see him fine. He's not in the
Daddy, yo,
Matrix.
you're in the
Yeah,
Matrix.
Delight, you the one frozen, brother.
Delight,
Frozen.
you in the Matrix, yo. You like
Frozen. What's that song from Frozen? You got little
yo,
daughters.
Delight,
What's that
man.
song from Frozen?
Look, oh, you in the
What's that
Matrix,
song
man.
from Frozen? Yeah, whatever that song is. But Bobby, what you think? I mean, all of y'all, like, what do y'all think? Like, what, you know what I'm saying? I think it's a great question. Like, the 90s is happening, hip hop is blowing up. You got your DMXs, your Punch, or whatever. Why is Stet not making records? Right? That's the question. Like, what's your answer to?
Yeah, I mean, we have to. I told him he has to definitely. People who haven't seen the Unsung, you can watch it as on demand. You got to see the Unsung because it definitely tells. It deeps into everything that happened in between. But just to kind of give everybody a quick answer to it is that we all also branched out doing separate projects. We were really working on a lot of stuff. Of course, everybody know Prince Paul had his hands in a lot of projects. You know that Daddy-O was doing projects. I was out on the road touring as a drummer. We was all working. So, and at the time, Tommy Boy just wasn't trying to offer us more money to do a fourth album. Now, we were definitely prepared to do a fourth album, but Tommy Boy had different ideas for us. And the ideas that they had for us, it wasn't what any of us wanted to do. That including Daddy-O, Wise, Prince Paul, the plan that they had for us, none of us wanted that plan. We all work on our own projects. We didn't mind working with other people, but we wanted to work with people of our choices. But they had other plans for us. So we all kind of just said, you know what, we're just going to step back, and we stepped back. But we didn't stop performing. We continued to keep doing shows.
Yeah, we
never stopped performing. Yeah, we just didn't have no new music out, but we was out doing some shows. And I always say this to this day, man. The only time you saw Stetsasonic and Grave Diggers one time at Tramps in New York City, that's on YouTube. Y'all need to see that. Was the only time.
God Bless the Dead Poetic, man. That was a dope show, man.
Yes, that was a dope show. So we was always out performing. Yeah. But like Daddy-O said, we kind of had to fill things out while everybody was rolling. And real quick to tell you, we was also working with a lot of new acts that was out too as well. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like we was lost in the source. We were working with the Smith & Wessons and the Smooth, the Hustlers, and all those cats. So, you know, people read the credits on the records, you see like, oh, I didn't know Daddy-O was behind Junior Mafia, or he was behind. Nobody knew that because nobody was reading the credits because Puffy was too busy in videos talking about take that.
You know, he's too busy taking that.
Okay. Yeah. So
but we never stopped performing. We really didn't. We never stopped performing. Like we always, you know, we kept it up. We kept the performances up. We actually have a live album recorded.
And we never released it. We're still gonna release that.
We never released. Yeah, but that we did at the Blue Note. It's dope. It's crazy.
Yep. Stetsasonic live at the Blue Note. Yep.
Yeah, put that out.
Dope.
Put that out, please.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to hear that, Malik?
Yeah, put that out for sure.
All right. Okay. We're
Yeah,
gonna reach out to you, Malik, too. We're gonna reach out to you.
Let's do it.
yeah. So why so yourself though? Because you didn't get to really introduce yourself. Are you also from Brooklyn, Wise?
Yeah. I'm originally from Brooklyn. I'm living in Virginia right now, but I'm originally from Brooklyn though.
Okay,
Lito
okay.
Yeah,
Brigante.
yeah.
Lito.
Lito.
Okay.
But like the guys were saying, piggyback off of them and stuff. Even though we weren't making records, we was still performing. We were still doing shows here and there and stuff like that. And then later on is when we decided that it's time to make something new. Even though it's decades later, you know what I'm
33
saying? I mean,
years. It's
I
33 years.
yeah, and the thing about it is that I had a chance to improve my craft as an MC. So if you
Okay.
listen to the Here We Go Again album, you gonna see, that I got a whole lot better and stuff. And the guys are definitely vouch for me and stuff. And the thing about it is that, you know, I was about to branch off from the human beatbox into rapping anyway and stuff, because the thing, the human beatbox, to me, this is my opinion, to me started fading away, you know what I'm saying? And I needed to get better at something else and stuff, if I wanted to shine and stuff. So as a rapper, my new rapper name is Lito Brigante, just to put that out there and stuff. I know everybody gonna know me as Wise, the Human Mix Machine, but Lito Brigante is in effects now. That the Human Mix Machine, he's out of here.
Okay. Okay.
Except he's still here.
He's
He
still
shows
here.
up on the album a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. He
Three times
shows
actually.
up from
Three
time
times.
to time.
Yeah, three
Yeah,
times
yeah.
on the album.
He does. He does show up. You know what I'm saying? But he's in there quick and then he leaves.
Yeah.
you know.
well, while I have you, I need to ask the question. Who's Chris Jericho?
He's a wrestler. Chris Jericho is a wrestler, right? And the thing about it, you know what I'm saying? Because, don't get me wrong, I watch wrestling and stuff, I've been watching it for decades and stuff, and this guy, he goes to different organizations. He was in WWE, he was in WCW, he's
Okay.
in
Okay.
AEW presently, and
Okay.
everywhere this guy goes, he reinvents himself and he's still
Ah,
relevant. I mean, this guy has been a wrestler like for decades. You know what I'm
okay.
saying? And
Okay.
wherever he goes, he just reinvents himself and he stays popular.
Okay.
Oh.
Because I was listening to Handle and you said like Chris Jericho. I'm thinking, I'm sure that's some. Because I didn't know who it was. So when I listened to Handle and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
said like Chris Jericho, I was like, I'm sure he's someone. I need to ask them who Chris Jericho is. Okay. So we're gonna go through
Yeah,
the
yeah,
album.
yeah. He's a
Okay. So now, so when I listen to Handle again, I'm gonna now be able to understand what you're trying to say. But before we get
okay.
into the album, uh, one of my good friends Stevie said Daddio did some killing New Jack on the Black Flames. Do you remember doing that, Daddio?
Yeah, that's me and Bobby.
Okay.
That's me and
Oh, the
Bobby.
Black Flames.
That's like more my arrangement and Bobby's drums, because Bobby got away with these drums, man. I guess because he's a drummer, right? So he got away with these drums, and between him and Prince Paul, I learned swing. I didn't know swing. I just knew straight 16s. I never understood. I mean, I can't. You know what I mean? Granted, I heard the swing on records, but as a producer, I learned how to produce from these guys. These guys were producing records way before me. I never wanted to be a music producer. I learned how to be a producer watching them.
Okay.
And then I just, like, you know what I'm saying? I jumped on their equipment. You know what I mean? Boom. And then, I picked it up. I learned how to do it and I got kind of good at it. But yeah, that's more like my arrange, because I'm really good with the arranging parts of things, Like I can really kind of figure out like where things should go and, you know, intro, outro, that type of thing. And then Bobby is real good with that vamp and that swing. And, you know, we talked about it. We both love Steve Arrington and Slave. And me and Bobby are pretty good at remakes, man. You know what I mean? Like we pretty good at that. Like if you know, we did that's not our best remake. Our best remake is Whirl a Girl. That Bob Marley record that we did on Whirl a Girl. That joint crazy. Yeah. That joint is crazy. But we pretty good at remakes. So we, you know, we'll sit down and we'll build for a couple of days in terms of how we want to do it. But yeah, that's me and Bobby. Black Flames is me and Bobby.
Okay, so we're gonna get questions about that. I know Malik's really gonna go through, you know, On Fire, you know, and all the other tracks and albums and stuff. But for those of you who are just joining in, Stetsasonic have just released a brand new album. Here we go again, 12 tracks. It's amazing how much quality there is, and I'm going to go through each of the songs on there to just get their thoughts on it. So the first song on there is Message in Our Music. Evidence that the drums from Bobby's probably. Are you playing live throughout the track, or is it?
Yes, I am. Okay. Yes. No, it's me playing live.
Yeah. So it's in my top 5 tracks. So what was the thought behind opening up with that track and sort of really what were you trying to differentiate yourself from the message that you were seeing out there? And let me not put so many words in your mouth, but what was the thought behind that particular track, Message in Our Music?
So that question starts with Delight, because Delight A&R the record basically, and Message is definitely his idea. And then Bobby will tell you about that sequence arrangement, because that was something. Bobby, you could tell him the fight we had about it. But Delight start with the whole why we did Message, because because of Delight we did Message.
Yeah, you're waiting on me.
Take your foot off the gas.
Yeah, I hear an echo. So I don't know if y'all hear the echo.
Yeah, because
you need to get some headphones with a mouthpiece on it.
We do not hear an echo.
Oh, okay.
You know what happens? You've got your second phone on, even though the camera's off. So I don't know. You may need to switch off one of the phones, because he has 2 phones and he's logged in on one. I've only opened up one of them, but maybe that's why you have the echo, because you've got 2 phones, both receiving the message. But anyway, you go ahead.
Oh, okay. I got you. But in any case, Message was done because we always been a group that dropped something for the people, for their mind. Music is supposed to be for the mind, the body, and the soul. And so there is a message in our music, you know what I'm saying, that sort of like, you know, we inform, you know, our audience of what's going on, the consciousness that we should have, and whatever the case may be. We always going to be dropping some type of message on our albums, because that's who we are. You know, that's just us, you know, coming across with something for the people's mind and for their soul. So that's what that's
right. And you know, just to jump on that real quick, I remember me and Delight, we used to talk on the phone a lot then when we was working on the album. I said, Delight, man, we need to make sure that when we do this, we got to make sure that everybody says something that's going to make people see what the future is. And real quick, before we go into that, I remember your daddy, I know you remember this conversation because we laughed about this the other day. And when we came back from the Netherlands, I said, yo, daddy, we need to do a record called, and this is from one of the lyrics of the In Full Gear album. I said, we need to do a song called, in 2019, we need to do a record called The Buttonless Press everybody start to panic.
Yep, I
And
remember that.
and behold, in 2020, it exactly happened. COVID happened. People, and I said, yo, D, it would have been crazy if we did a record with that title because it would have made people saying, yo, what Stetsasonic is on and what they know. So when we did Messages in Our Music, I said, yo, Delight, it's important for us to keep reminding people that we're still conscious and we're still aware of what's going on around us in our surroundings, whether it's music or whether it's our living conditions. And but I work with C Doc on he was actually one of the producers that produced the record with us. When I was arranging it with him, I said, yo, we need to put some at the top, a speaker at the top so that people know that we starting this off serious. And of course, we need to make sure that the drums and scratches make people understand this is hip hop. Me and Daddy will keep saying, you can't say you're doing hip hop without scratches. Where's the DJ? Always. Always. Whenever you're doing a hip hop record, your breakdown should always be in there. Me and Daddy will talk about that all the time. How come cats don't do breakdowns in any records no more? We stole so much from James Brown, we should be able to create our own breakdowns. So it was important for that record to sound the way it sounded and move the way it moved. But not making it sound too old school, very keeping it current.
Yeah.
But let them know that this is still hip hop.
And I had a big fight with Bobby Simmons and our manager Courtney Benson. Shout out to Benson Management, because they constantly was on this. What, we going back 4 months, maybe 3 months, at least 3 months ago. They was on me about Message opening up the album, and I was like, no. Because I wanted to open up the album with a street record. You know what I mean? I wanted to definitely go with like some real hard street. I probably would have opened it with like Handled or Cypher or something like that. Because you know what I'm saying, my whole acumen, the way I feel is like, I feel like Message in Our Music is an incredible song. I want to close. I've been saying this for years. I want to close. I'm saying years, a couple of, year and a half. I want to close the album out with Message. Like, I want that to be the last record before the new album, before the next album. And I think Message, no disrespect to the rest of the album, but I think Message is the most classic Stet record on that album. Like, that's more, to me, that record sounds more what I was, if I was a Talking All That Jazz fan or On Fire fan, whatever, that record sounds like the classic Stetsasonic record, right? Which to me is what we supposed to be doing anyway, right? So I'm like, yo, I just want to show that I could, you know what I mean? Like Wise Rhyme on Handle. Like, I want to show that. You know what I'm saying? I want to show, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we going there, but they were right. You know what I'm saying? I'm wrong a lot. I love being wrong. I'm wrong a lot. And they were totally right, because when we finally spoke to, because we got a couple of friends and Malik about to be in that group that we send stuff too early. You know what I mean? That we get opinions from. And when I sent it to them people was like, D, this is spot on. I'm like, oh. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, they was right. You know what I mean? But then when I listened to the sequence, I was like, yeah, this works. You know what I mean? Because the one thing I do enjoy about this record is, the acumen from the fellas, and that's everybody involved, right? To not make filler music. Right? And so, like, I tell people all the time, well, I tell my friends all the time, I said, man, I got 5 videos left. Right? Like, I got 5 videos left. And I don't know, this will be Cypher is being worked on now. It's already shot already. And I got 5 left. And 6 if I decide to do People in the Neighborhood. You know what I mean? Which is a thought. You know what I mean?
No,
but
yeah, we're gonna go through all the other tracks. So.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, but go ahead. I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah, no, I mean, Malik, I mean, you've listened to Message in your music, and as I said, it for me just. So I'm not a hip hop head, I'm an R&B guy. I'm actually a new jack swing person. And
So do
so
you like Here We Go Again then? Since you're an R&B head, you like Here We Go Again?
no, I've got my 5 tracks, so don't worry. What I'm trying to
Okay, go
say
ahead, go
is
ahead. I'm
that,
sorry. Okay,
yeah. So what I was
okay.
trying to say is that so the reason why Heavy D is my favorite MC was because it was easy for me to, because I wasn't born in the States. So
Mm,
so if it's so sometimes from he rapped in a way I could understand what he was saying. And what I
mm,
liked about this album, but I'm starting with message in our music, is I could understand word for word what was being said. Most hip
mm,
hop I can't understand, so it is just like I'm listening to a beat and a flow, and it's like, yeah, okay, the beat's nice. I don't understand what they're saying. Public Enemy, KRS One, you can hear what they're saying, and so for me, that's how I can appreciate hip hop. When I can understand what they're saying, I like the beat and I like the flow. But I love the drums. I love live music, so I loved what you guys did with the drum and how you guys was what you were the thoughts about. Look, hip hop has been hijacked by corporations. It's been hijacked to
mm.
talk about whatever it is to make billions for other people. But the true essence of what we're putting out there is being missed. And so that's how I was able to relate to that particular track. Um, but Malik, your thoughts on messaging our music?
I think exactly what Daddy O said about how it's probably the most Stetsa nostalgic type of track on there because y'all play a lot with old and new tones. Y'all go everywhere on this album. Y'all give an opportunity for new listeners to come in and learn who y'all are, and then y'all give the tried and true fans that opportunity to go into the style that they want to hear. So yeah,
Salute.
that's my first thought. I'm it's always interesting when you use a hook from a classic song, right? Because y'all went for the disco hook on that one. Um,
Mm.
interesting, interesting because y'all do borrowed hooks, y'all do original hooks, and so that yeah, that's a way to set it off. I understand where Daddy O's coming from too, with wanting to start it off with something hard, like now y'all giving up love or handled. But as Nandy says, he wants to go through every track, so
Yeah.
we're
We're
gonna
gonna go for every track. uh, I mean, Wise, what are your thoughts on it, Wise, on the message in our music? I mean, as
I told Daddy O he didn't believe in your nah, messaging the music to start the album. Yeah, it was a pretty good choice to start it off with that and stuff, because we'll start off with something like like messaging our music, and then afterwards we start playing around with everything else. We start getting into what some people didn't expect for us to do. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I'm sure that even with me rapping more, I don't think that a lot of people was expecting that and stuff. Especially, like I said, I've developed, I'm a whole lot better. So I don't think people would expect me to be Brigante 1.0, and I'm not trying to be a Fruit Quan 2.0. You know what I'm saying? Just putting it like that. I'm just falling into my spot where I should have been in the first place. You know what I'm
so
saying?
Wise, you was rapping a fair amount on the album before. Why you keep you stepped into that light?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I was, you know what I'm saying? I was definitely falling like into my spot where where I should have been in the first place and stuff. You know what
Gotcha.
I'm saying? It's that with this new album right here, because it took time for me, to develop in the game and stuff. And the thing about it, listening to other people, that helped a whole lot. And I gotta be honest, you know, the way that, to me, and this is me, Big Daddy Kane is like one of my favorite rappers. And when this guy came out with his punchlines and stuff, that's what drew me in even more as an MC, is just coming up with punchline after punchline and stuff, and you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like he's one of the most incredible dudes when it comes to punchlines and stuff. So I'm like, you know what? I said that's where I need to go right there.
Well, I want to let you know it shows, brother. It shows you hanging with the best of them.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot.
Okay, we're gonna go to seat number 2, and now you're giving up love. But before that, are people going to be able to get vinyls and CDs, or is it just digital? What's the
CDs
plan?
are available now. See, hold on.
As
I
we
just
wait for
bought a
Daddy-O to
CD.
come back.
Yeah,
So,
because especially
but,
those of us who are
CDs are available now.
okay.
All
Are
right,
they okay?
and then you could get it from our Bandcamp, or the Spit Slam site, or Stetsasonic.com, all three. And then
Vinyls?
the vinyl's on its way, the vinyl and the cassette. So we did all 4 forms. We did
Okay.
digital, CD. The CD actually has a solo record from Wise on here, and an outro that's phenomenal on here. And then on the cassette, there's a solo Daddy-O record on that. The vinyl is what we had to do with vinyl. So there's 10 songs on the vinyl, because you know how it is with vinyl. You want to make sure that it's fully, boom. But the vinyl's dope too, because the vinyl's got I guess we called it a street side and the radio side. I think that's what we called it. So you know what I'm saying. So that's kind of fly. But yeah, the vinyl's on the way. I mean, a lot of people. We made sure. When I talked to Spit Slam about, because that's our distributor. When I talked to Spit Slam about it, I made sure that we would definitely have vinyl, because a lot of people, even when we was advertising that we got an album coming out, it always comes back. Will it be available on vinyl? Will it be available on vinyl? You know what I mean? So yeah, we definitely doing that. But yeah, the CDs available now. Digital's available now. Cassette and vinyl on the way.
Okay. Now you're all giving up love. So what was the thought and the story around that track?
Daddy-O put that together, and he did a good job too.
I think now y'all giving up love is self-explanatory. Like, what I thought about was what they think about us, right? And so part of it is almost get back. You know what I mean? And I don't want to sound egotistical about it, because it's not really that. But rappers have the tendency to be egotistical. But part of it is really get back, like what they thinking about us. And it's like, I know on one side it's like fans, right? I love Stetsasonic. That's my favorite band. Oh, that's the original hip hop band. Then they got certain, oh, Ghost Stetsa is my joint, Sally's my joint, all of that kind of stuff. A lot of people, Africa's my joint, you know what I mean? But then there's other people that have some other kind of thoughts, right? There was something that happened in London a couple of years ago at the Jazz Cafe, you know what I mean? And so that prompted, where your man's at? The one who was laughing on the internet, but now we smash on the internet, crash on the internet. The Just Say Stat, hands in the air because you love life. Shout out to Philly because they love, you know what I mean? Like, all of that is us. Philadelphia loves us. Y'all thought Wise was a beatbox. The Detox line just came from like 90% of hip hop fans asking Dre, where's Detox? Which still never came. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that, you know what I'm saying? And then what ended up happening was, we didn't really plan for that to be the hook. It just ended up being the hook.
Yeah.
We were just really rhyming. All we was trying to do is just rhyme and just say what we saying, like all of that stuff. I could say these tickets for my best friends, loyalty rare, but we full of that. You know what I mean? Like it was the essence of, like, it was our We Back record, but in a real MC way. Because real MCs, the guys I love, the Melly Mel's, the Kumo D's, the Grandmaster Kaz's, those guys have a way with words where they don't have to go, we back. You don't remember who we was? That's not what they're gonna do. You understand what I'm trying to say? We're gonna rap through. What'd you say, Bobby? You know what I'm saying? So it's our we're back record without saying we back, even though we said that in the record that we back. You know what I mean? We said it at the end that Bobby told me to say that. But it's that record. Like it's definitely, you know, put it this way. I know it's a long answer to a short question. I think Now Y'all Giving Up Love is the perfect treatise to the naysayers.
There you go.
Yeah, because the real fans, that's almost not dedicated to the real fans, except for it's stet flowing and all of that. That's kind of dedicated to the naysayers. Like,
yeah.
What did you
now
really
y'all
think?
giving up love?
Yeah, like what did you really think was gonna happen? That's what I love about these two dudes, Delight and Wise, because the way they step on this album is exactly what I dreamed of. I dreamed of this. And I said, watch what happens. What did y'all think was gonna happen, bro? Like you really thought we was gonna, because I've been doing new records since 2016. You know what I'm saying? So I done already by 17, the beginning of 18, you know, now you understand I'm really doing this. You understand what I'm trying to say? So by the time I did R.A. the Rugged Man, Bun B, you know what I mean, all of that, everybody's like, oh, Daddy-O, you know what I'm saying, Daddy-O's in it. But they never really heard me with my guys. And I said, yo, watch what happens. I don't know what they think this is, bro. Like, what do y'all think this is? Like, yo, this is not the old man party. Like, it's not what y'all think. It really is not. I always say this, man. There's two types of old men in Brooklyn. Two types. One, he drunk all the time, and all the young kids, he drunk, whatever, and all the young kids send him in the store because they not old enough to buy liquor and all of that. So he go in the store like he basically they son, be an old man, but he messed up. So he following them. And then there's another old man that when they laughing, when you walk down the block, they stop laughing. Because they know that we can make one phone call and your block will disappear. And that's who we are. We can make your block disappear. And I couldn't wait to come back with my guys to show that. You know what I mean? And then when I listen, that's why I was saying earlier before we started the show, listening to lyrics is one thing, but reading lyrics is a whole nother thing. Mm-hmm. And if you read the Light's lyrics on this album, you get it. You really get it. Even starting off with Message. You know what I'm saying? Because I never forget when he did Message, man, Wise called me and said, yo, man. Yeah. The light went in. Then I talked to my man Harry that knows us from like long time ago. He said, yo, my favorite line on that album is Tonight I'ma Touch My Inner Marvin. You know what I mean? Like, what did y'all think was gonna happen? That's my whole thing. Like, that's Now Y'all Giving Up Love. What did y'all think was gonna happen? And then from then on, now you see what's happening.
Who handled production on that, Bobby?
What? Now You're Giving Up Love?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Kevin Dean. Big shout out to Kevin Dean, man. Yeah, he came through.
He did a bunch of stuff for Mary J. Blige. I think he did the biggest Horace Brown record. He's really Kevin, really an R&B producer, but he makes some crazy hip hop for Stet because he got 2 records on the Stet album.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which other one did he do?
Live drumming over that sample.
Lolita.
He did Lolita. Okay. That's why Delight says, "Where we at, D?" And I go Dean Street. The incomparable Dean Street, because that's what he calls himself, Dean Street. So that's why Delight says, "Where we at, D?" He's shouting out Kevin Dean.
Okay. Malik, thoughts?
Yeah, that live drumming over that sample on Now Y'all Giving Up Love, chef's
Mm.
kiss. Chef's kiss. Perfect combination.
Yeah, I mean, I put down drums as well. As I said, I'm a massive live. I don't go to a lot of R&B concerts anymore because it's all backing tracks. I'm more of
Yeah,
a live band, so
that's tough.
hearing the drums.
Not us.
Yeah, well, yeah, as I
Not
said,
us.
I think people forget what live instruments were meant to do and how it really gets the crowd. So yeah, so I love the fact that you can really feel the drums through that. We can go to Cypher. So who was the young lady who starts it off?
Marla Rains.
Yeah, Mala Rain. Yeah. Mala's actually Malik. You probably would know if you follow the Source magazine. She was one of the Source. I think she was. I can't remember what number she was rated, but one of the top Cypher battle rappers.
Wow.
I can't remember what year it was, but she was one of the top Cypher rappers, and the Source magazine gave her like I think like 5, 6, 7, 6 stars or something like that. So she's definitely one not to play with. And she can get in the trenches with the guys. So Marla Rain,
I'm a
she's
mean
good.
chick. Cut the check.
Yep.
Yeah, and you
Yep.
know what is really refreshing is that you're hearing somebody rapping with substance, because female rap has just been taken off on a very different direction. So it almost felt strange listening to a female rapping with substance, because we hadn't really heard that for a long time. So that's why I was really, and the fact that you let her open the track, that says volumes for the fact that you guys were like, yeah, you know what, you started off.
Yeah. Can I tell a quick 1-minute story, D? Can I tell y'all something?
Go for it.
When I called Marla to do the record, right? I told Daddy, I said I'm not gonna tell nobody. She's gonna do it. We just got this record we're gonna do. But I told Marla, I said, yo, Marla got the assignment. I said, yo, D, we're going to do a record called Cypher. We ain't going to have no hook on this record. Everybody just come right behind everybody once the verses is done. I said, yo, Marla, you going to kick it up? She said, no, let me just hear what everybody else is doing. I said, nah, you got to put a battery in their back. Because if you don't put a battery in their back, they're going to be ready for you. And Daddy-O heard her first verse. Daddy-O said, yo, I'm already writing right now. As soon as Wives heard it, Wives said, yo, I'm already writing. Everybody was ready, and that was the whole point. The whole point was that we want everybody to know that we're on our toes. My cats, and I brag about my guys now, even on interviews. We did interviews recently. I tell people, my guys is ready. I don't care who comes through that door. My guys is ready for anything. You know what I'm saying? But having Marla open up the track was perfect for us because it gave people an opportunity to go. And D, what do people say when you play for them?
Oh, I mean, what I like. Who is that? Like that's
exactly.
The first thing. Like
that's
who
the
is
first
that?
thing they say.
Yeah, because the bottom line is that I mean, I don't use the term old school, and I loved hearing Malik say classic hip hop because that's the terminology I use all the time. I'm not trying to be disrespectful because anybody knows Daddy-O, I love the young guys. I'm a Key Glock fan. It's a whole bunch of them guys, them young guys. I've been bumping 21 Savage way before he did records with Drake. Like, so it's not like I don't like the young guys. Love Kodak. So it's not like that. But I understand what they are as well. You know what I mean? But classic hip hop, it took me a long time to come to the terms, because I don't like to say this all the time. We're actually better, right? And I think it took me a long time to say that because I didn't have the argument, but I actually have the argument now, right? And so Wise mentioned Kane. I could mention Rakim. I could mention Chris, but I can mention a whole bunch of other people. I can mention that 2 years ago I went up to special ed and I apologized. He said, "What you apologizing for, Daddy-O?" I said, "Because you a lyricist and I never noticed it." I never noticed that you was a lyricist. I'm so caught up in I Got It Made that I didn't understand that you was the whole album. You was flipping words. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And so what happens with us is our ears are different than, let's say, other people because we had to grow up listening to Kaz go ape shit, or listening to Kumo D go ape shit, or listening to Melly Mel on The Message, right? We had to grow up underneath that. Kane doing Raw, right? Rakim, what is Lyrics of Fury? What is that? Like, what is that, bro? So we had to grow up underneath that. So when it comes down to collaboration, right? It's gotta, I hate to say it, but it's gotta kind of pass a certain litmus test. You know what I mean? And it goes both ways. So it goes with us saying, yes, we accept it, but it also goes with the person that's spitting. I know who I'm stepping in the arena with.
Uh-huh.
So that's why you hear I'm 5'7", 5'8" is my crowd heights. That's why you hear that. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because they know, and we know, and we got more to come. We got some other features coming. There's a Cypher part 2 that's coming. Y'all might miss the light, but the light's on part 2, and it's a bunch of heavy hitters on part 2. You know what I mean? But it still goes the same way. They passed the litmus test on our side, but we also passed the litmus test on their side, if that makes sense.
Yes, and that's what I was saying about Wise on that joint. You
Stupid.
You know what I mean?
It's dumb.
You left me smoking. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, he left Earth. When I heard the rhyme, I'm like, yo, you left Earth, bro.
It's always a great thing when because regardless of what we like, there's always the schism between old and new. I don't know who put it there, but it's there. So whenever we can disprove that by collaboration, it's the best thing ever. You know, I think who had a joint last year? Was it Busta Rhymes? He had Big Daddy Kane and Conway.
Right.
Together. We need that. We need more.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. And I think also, before we move on for Cypher, I think and I'm saying this about Cypher, but I'm also saying it about just the acumen of the album as well. There are OG, and that this goes into what I'm talking about, you know, the different type of old men. There are OG lines that have to be said, right, to establish that. My favorite line on Cypher is, and then I treat them like the opening act. You got to know what that means. You understand what I mean? Yeah. It could go over your head if you don't understand it. But if you know what that means, come on, bro. That's, you know what I mean? Like the only other line that I heard like that I love, I mean, totally love, is Nas's Halftime. Because I try to explain it, because it's funny, right? It's the halftime chat. But Nas's Halftime is such a phenomenal concept. Because if you know what happens at halftime, think of that Bill Belichick win over the Atlanta Falcons years ago, right? And the Falcons are leading by all of these points, and then they go into the locker room at halftime, and then they come out at win. They come out and win. But he's saying you still in you're not coming out of halftime. Right? And to me, it's the same kind of equivalent of like, and then I treat them like the opening act. Like it's more than you just being the opening act. I'm actually treating you like an opener. That's crazy to me, bro. That's crazy to me. That's a bar. That is a bar.
Oh, goodness. For those who are just joining in, we're joined by the legendary Stetsasonic, and I've also got Malik here, who is who's supporting me with this interview. I'm going to go to when we started, I said I had 5 favorite tracks on the album. Now the whole album is great, but I had to take my 5 favorites So message in our music is one of the 5 favorites. The second favorite for me was track number 4, Lolita. I just loved the vibe of it. I just loved the way it goes. Who he came up with the idea of using of that particular track, and what do you want to say about that?
It's Kevin Dean.
Okay.
Yeah, so A&R wise, Delight A&R the record. Delight came to me one day, and the best way to describe it is well, it's not really no best way to describe it, but what came to my brain. What came to my brain was that reggae song. I'm in love with a man who is twice my age. That, you know what I'm saying? He said we need to do a record about a younger woman, but no Diddy. You know what I'm saying?
Drake.
You know what I'm saying? No, none of that pedophilia stuff. But we need to do a record about that. And so Kevin got records coming on the next album. Kevin, he laced us with a nice little beat pack, right? And so I took a shot at it of what Delight was talking about. And then we got together and wrote a video. That's Lolita. To me, that's crazy within itself. We actually wrote a video. That's what we wrote. We wrote a video.
Yeah, you could definitely visualize it.
Yeah, it was like we're gonna be the same person with one girl. D, you gonna get on the bus. Wise, you gonna get off the bus. You gonna go in the restaurant. You gonna go in the bathroom, and I'm gonna come out the bathroom and close it out.
The light comes out. Yeah.
And the light goes, hold it.
She's so fine.
But that's what I was saying at the top of it, is that I, as not being a hip hop head myself, being able to listen to a song that I could hear, relate, and visualize, and really feel as if, okay, I know what they're saying, and I can really relate to it. And I think that's, as I said, there may be people who are really into hip hop who would say, no, the beats aren't strong, or the lyrics are not great. And I'm like, well, there's a generation of people like myself who really, as I said, it's in my top 5 on that. Malik, what were your thoughts on Lolita?
I was going to say, y'all brothers took a risk with that title, man. The original book and movie was controversial.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah, Sway was talking about that. When the guys went on Sway. When was that? Last week y'all was on Sway, or week before last y'all was on Sway?
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, Sway was talking about that. But I think I did it for the, but you got to play some of the Hollywood games, right? It's not Hollyweird games. You got to play some of the Hollyweird games, right? So it's definitely a eye catcher. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, kind of going with it. But then when you hear it, it's so funny, because it's funny what you're saying about hearing lyrics and understanding lyrics, because it was funny. The guys were on Sway, and then I forgot who said it, but somebody was like, "How old is she?" And Sway said,
Prince Paul. Prince Paul was
Sway said it because Sway was listening to the record. You know what I'm saying? So he said, Daddy-o said how old she is. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? It was, so yeah, we took that chance on purpose, but, you know what I'm saying? When you hear it lyrically, you could, boom. But shoot, she probably is Lolita to me, my old ass. You know what I mean?
The light was about to say something.
The thing about it, the record itself, it's about relationship between older man and the younger woman. But what makes this record so unique is that each verse, right, goes into the experience with this one woman, but it implies, but each rhyme represents each one of us. So Daddy-o is represented by the first represented by the first, second, and third rhyme, and so am I. Right? So you have all of us. You have one song that represents all of us with this one type of woman. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And that's why it comes out like a video.
Mm.
Because each verse is a continuation of the relationship with the same woman.
Wow.
Dope. Yeah. When y'all do a video, when y'all do the video, just put a little disclaimer, man, with all these
Oh yeah,
all these
you're
Drake
right.
and Diddy claims out
Thank
there.
you, thanks Malik, because we will do that. I told you part of the team now, so don't. You part of the team now, brother.
It's like the storyline is from verse to verse. There is no difference. It's one storyline, and it can represent each one of us. That's what it is.
Don't worry about that. Like, you gotta keep explaining. You ain't going to jail. They ain't coming to raid your house. You're all right. You're right.
Yeah, it's my top 5. We moved to handled. And was there beef with Rex and Effects? Because
there was a. I don't know if you guys remember the B-side to Susie. So you got to be an old vinyl head. You got to be an old vinyl head to know. So on the B-side to Susie is a record. I'm sure it's searchable on YouTube some kind of way, form, or fashion.
Yeah.
Called Anytime, Any Place. And so Anytime, Any Place was dedicated to Rex and Effect and this is what happens when you make a mistake and step on somebody's toe. From a mistake, because me and Akil are really good friends right now. Right? But he said on one of his records, Stets is the runner-up. And by the way, the new guy, he sucks. We thought he was talking about Wise, and we tore into that ass.
That makes sense.
And Anytime, Any Place might be the hardest Stet record. Besides for Peace is hard too. But Anytime, Any Place might be the hardest Stet record ever.
That makes sense. There's a track on Blood, Sweat, No Tears where you diss New Jack Swing completely. You say something about hip hop house and
hip hop garbage and New Jack Swing.
Hip house garbage and a New Jack Swing.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so for a minute it felt like a beef, and then once me and Akil got together, which I'm glad, because they 137th Street niggas and they really not to be played with. They ran with Lil Scott and all of them. That would have been a real fight.
Harlem.
Yeah, that would have been a real fight. I'm talking about on some street shit, like that would have been, you know what I mean? But yeah, once I met with Akil and his brother, you know what I'm saying, we squared it away. And but when I did the hook, I just wanted to talk about like all of this again. It kind of goes back into some of the ideology that I had with Now Y'all Giving Up Love. I wanted to go back to some of that stuff that seems to be questionable. You know what I mean? So I hit all of that. I hit the No Fucon, what's next? You know, if you worried about the DBC, that Tommy Boy still around, I hit all of that. You know what I mean? On purpose. You know what I mean? But Rex and Effect was part of that because, you know what I mean, that was a little potential war, but it got ironed out.
So can we get to that? Because I know it was probably explained in the Unsung, but for those who didn't catch it, what happened? Where's the split with Fuquan and DBC come into play?
Well, DBC. Go ahead, Wise. Go ahead.
In reference to Fuquan, you know what I'm saying? Because the thing about it, when he left the group, you know, the first time, and you know, and I give it to him. He, you know, he had his reason and stuff like that. But you know, when we got back together to do shows and stuff, you know what I'm saying? It was about professionalism, and that's something that he lacked once he got back with the group. Professionalism. You know what I'm saying? That the way we handle our business and stuff, you know, even though we're family, you know what I'm saying? We're family. Daddy owes my family, Bobby, Delight, you know what I'm saying? Paul, you know, we're family. But when it comes to taking care of business, I mean, let's take care of business and put the family thing to the side. You know what I'm saying? And that was the thing with Fruquan, you know. He let, you know, personal things, personal feelings get involved, despite that I thought things were squashed between all of us. You understand what I'm saying? I thought that everything was cool. I thought we were cool and everything. And you know what I'm saying? And he just, you know, his professionalism just went out the window. And we can't tolerate that. We can't tolerate, you know, because this is a business and we need to handle it like a business.
Handle.
Okay. And then DBC.
Well, DBC, the last phone call I had with DBC was back in 2016, and DB just kind of felt like, you know, things wasn't going right for him in the band. He felt like his ideas or his ideas and his producing skills wasn't being respected. He wanted more of the recognition, or he felt like he wasn't getting more of the recognition. I told him, I said, yo, listen, man, we it was at the time we was going to do this show. We was going to do the Folk Festival with Nile Rodgers and Earth, Wind and Fire. And I said, yo, DB, let's just do this. And once we do this, we'll all sit down and we talk. But DB at that point was just like, I'm out, B. I'm not getting the recognition that I think I'm supposed to be getting. So he just said, you know what, I'm out. And since then, DBC hasn't reached out. Even for the unsung, he was reached out for and he didn't respond. So, you know, the last conversation with DB that I had was just that he just thought that this was the Lights and Daddy-O's band. And he felt like his ideas and his plans and his producing credibility was being overlooked. And that was pretty much the end of DBC. But as far as Fruquan is concerned, I pray for the brother, man. But we're moving forward. I always tell the guys, man, I'm at the point where I'm not giving no more energy to that. People keep asking, if you didn't see him on the Blood, Sweat, No Tears album, and you don't see him on this album, why are you still asking me?
Yeah, there you go.
You know, there's
That's
something
it.
that.
We got new. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Bobby. And once you finish, I'll
No, I was just gonna end it up by saying we got new energy going on here now, and you see where we at right now. You heard Cypher, right?
Hey, I will say, y'all brought it up though. Y'all brought it up on the song. That's why it has to be asked.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. No, I'm not saying that we're not gonna, because people are gonna ask, but I'm just saying for people sometimes they'll just say it out and split, and it's like, listen, you know what? We've done a lot of interviews where it's been explained. They're gonna watch this show. We're gonna explain it again, and they're gonna still ask. But I'm not giving that energy no more. We're moving forward. This next album, we just moving forward.
I feel
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, there's something that, like what Wise was saying about family and business, and I remember listening to an interview with Questlove with Black Thoughts, and they started off being brothers, but then when they realized that in order to keep the roots going, they had to focus on the business, so their friendship kind of drifted, but the business part became the solid stuff. So they had other best friends, but it helped maintain the business, because sometimes, you know, you can let one slip. And so what Wise was saying about, look, yeah, we're family, but when you're handling business, you know, you have to put in a professionalism, and sometimes, you know, you can let that slip. So, and I guess for fans, sometimes it's hard to understand because we're not in there with you guys. We're not on the road. We don't understand if you miss a show. You know, we've all seen the Temptations, you know, or we've all seen the Five Heartbeats.
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
Yeah, we understand. We may look at it and laugh about it, but we don't understand what it's like. I mean, if somebody shows up late and promoters saying, "Oh, all six of you are in here, all seven," you know, that's it. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
So we understand. So the business is how important that is, because you guys are getting. So it's I think, but as I said, for fans, we're always sentimental. We always we all got upset with Johnny Gill for replacing Bobby, regardless of what how Bobby was doing a New Edition. But we don't understand what it's like. So it's. But as I said, what's important and what Wise has said is, look at this is a business. You guys aren't. It's not a hobby anymore. You guys are traveling around the world, promoting an album, leaving your families behind. If everyone's not on page, it can disrupt the energy. So, yeah. But as I said, people never understand, and that's cool. But you guys will still
Exactly.
could keep going
Yeah,
on.
and let me just add that the artistically, there's a thread. I guess that's the easiest way to describe Stetsasonic, right? That there's an artistic thread. So we're gonna move. It's so funny. I'm thinking about the light because he usually is the one to set it off. And what's so funny is when and this is ill, but it's in my head. Back in the day, right? The light, there was game rooms, and the light was phenomenal at Millipede. He used to turn. I don't know if you know anything about the game rooms, right? But he used to turn the game over. Like that's the whole thing in the game room is to turn the game over, go all the way to the end that it turns over, on 1/4 or 2/4, because everybody else they die, right? And he used to turn the game over. But now here's what I'm saying about the Millipede: the way you play that game is that they all got to keep moving in that same thread, right? And so for Stetsasonic, there's always this artistic thread in terms of where we want to go with it. I want to go on record to say, when we began to start this new album, we invited Fuquan.
Yes, sir.
Now, notice I say his name the way he likes to be said, because these guys still saying Fuquan. He wants to be called Fuquan now. So I'm saying it the way he wants to be said. But we invited him. When we were writing Now Y'all Giving Up Love, I sent him the track and the kind of dummy skeleton lyrics that we were working with. You know what I mean? Me and him had a conversation. I remember I was on my terrace in Houston. We were talking. We was having a conversation. I thought it was a good conversation. It was about, he was just like, you know how it is, man. We used to compete against each other. And I was like, yeah, exactly. I'm going to send you something. Beat it. You understand? He never got back to me. You got to remember, Now Y'all Giving Up Love is the beginning of this album. He never got back to me. So let's not make it look like we was on some, oh, you not down, we not messing with you, da-da-da. No, the invitation was right there when we started this creative process. Okay?
Even with Stet Anniversary, you know what I'm saying? He knew about that track too.
Exactly. So I don't know. I don't know. Somebody would have to interview him. But maybe there was some kind of listen, Stet works in a certain kind of succession, right? Usually we get our lead from D. The light came up with even the name Stetsasonic. We get our lead from D, and then I'm kind of like the guy that I'm the pigeon, the carrier pigeon. D says blah, 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 and then I take it and say, okay, D. He says, I want to do a record. He didn't say Lolita, but he says, I want to do a record, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, boom. You know what I mean? And that's usually the way we do it. And then Wise picks up and says, hey, he brings in the energy. No. You got Paul and Bobby to shape the music. Nobody ever worries about the damn music. It's always going to get right. You know what I mean? Because them guys. So maybe that, I don't know, maybe the artistic thread, and I'm surmising right now. I have no idea, right? But maybe the artistic thread didn't work out. Maybe he didn't like the ideology of a Stets Anniversary. Maybe he didn't like the ideology of a Now Y'all Giving Up Love. The rest of those records wasn't created yet. Right. You know what I mean? We came with those records later. But I don't know. Maybe it was that kind of thread. But I think, beyond everything else we talked about, we are a band. And so in the same way that you would look at an Earth, Wind, and Fire, the same way you would look at a Mandrill, the same way you would look at a Santana, the same way you would look at a Brass Construction. I could keep going. That is the process all the time. The process is always a band process. I always say this about Stetsasonic that a lot of people miss. I don't know too many other hip hop acts that produce internally. Most people have producers. I mean, there's some people that go on record that says Nas is the greatest. Nas ain't never produced a record in his life. You understand what I'm trying to say? And that's no disrespect to Nas, but most people, Marley was making their records, even though the Bomb Squad is kind of internal. They never hit the stage with Public Enemy. Hank and them was making the records. Howie T was making the records. You know, recently Swiss Beats is making the records. You know what I mean? We made these records from the inside out. So the process is very important to us. Sitting down, talking about where it goes. Does that beat work? Does that beat not work? Does this sequence work? You don't usually see an A&R guy on a Stet credit. There was A&R people at Tommy Boy. There wasn't our A&R, you know what I'm saying? But there was A&R people at Tommy Boy. But there was enough of us, you know, in full volume is 7 of us. You know what I mean? And out of that 7, 3 are musicians. For real. Now the rest of us can say we got in there and became musicians, but these guys are musicians playing music, you know, all of that kind of stuff. So there's an artistic thread, right? That's why I mentioned the Miller P thing and all of that. There's an artistic thread, and that could possibly be, I'm surmising, but that could possibly be, maybe that artistic thread, you know, wasn't followed. You know what I mean? But that's who we're gonna always be. I mean, we're working on the next album as we speak, and it's a thread to it.
Well,
Listen,
I mean,
It's just how we get down.
Y'all gave 3 different answers to the same question, and the people needed that. The people watching this right now, that I couldn't ask for a better reply to that. 3 different answers to the same question. It all leads to the same thing. Stet keeping it moving.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, let's. As I said, just for those that we're going through the new single on Here We Go Again, track number 6, Stet Dreams Come True. Who wants to talk on
Another
that?
delight. That's a delight. That's a delight thing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. That was born a piece out of my man Big Law music, and what happened is that it is an Afrobeat, and when I played it for Daddy O, he said, "Man, it's bananas. Okay, let's get to work on it." You know what I'm saying? And so when the hook was hooked up to it, that was it. You know, we decided to write it. You know what I'm saying? I had the idea of having some Africans on it, and the version
And which we do now.
Yeah, which we do now, and y'all gonna hear that version. If y'all love that version, you wanna love the African version.
Are you getting them from Nigeria, where I'm from, or what part of Africa?
This is coming from Nigeria and Sierra Leone.
Okay.
Look at that, Namdi. Look at that.
Yeah, that's
and then Stet Dreams Come True is Delight and I, you know, it's real. Like D told me something one time. D had a young lady in his car one time, and he played "Stet Dreams Come True," and the girl started crying because me and Delight talked
But she
about.
was
Go
something,
ahead. No,
and
go ahead.
it just the song just hit the chord. You know what I'm saying? As far as relationships, you know what I'm saying? You know, we like relationship records. That's why we did Susie. That's why we did Sally. You know, and now we did Lolita, and now we.
Yeah, and
And
So
then
Stet
we
what?
want to
Dreams.
go.
So what? Faye was a hoe? What you trying to say? Was Faye
Shut
a
up,
hoe?
man. Shut up, man.
This is that.
Stet Dream,
This is
and
that.
we ain't even talk about.
Yo,
We
this
ain't
is
even talk
that
about
grown
Susan,
up. This
but
is that. You know, grown man hip hop.
Yeah,
yeah,
great.
but Stet Dreams is a answer to, in my opinion, and this is what me and D talked about when we were writing it. Stet Dreams is an answer to the Instagram phenomenon, right? So what you see on IG a lot of times, which is sad, you see these girls, they taking trips, they taking pictures on their trips, whatever. You never see a man in those pictures, right? And because everybody's getting flew out to Dubai, everybody's getting flew out, but he never says he love you because all he's doing is those red bottoms. I know he got them. You know what I'm saying? But if you listen to what we saying in Stet Dreams, we understand that you tricking and you need to stop tricking. You know what I mean? Like you gotta give that part up. He say he flying you out to Dubai, but you'll never be the apple of his eye. This week, you his butterfly. Next week, you be boom bye bye. You know what I'm saying? So that's an answer to that because again, very early on, I want to say 1984, 85, we started hearing Delight say in interviews, Stetsasonic makes music for the mind, body, and soul. So one day I said to Delight, D, what that mean? I'm when we in interviews, I'm like, yeah. then when we get inside, I'm like, D, what that mean, right? And he said, D, it's because we do make records for the mind, right? We do make records to make people think. We do make records for the body, you know what I'm saying? Make people dance and all of those things. But we also make records for the soul. We make these records to uplift people. We always want to try to give them a step up. If we got this platform, right? It's important that we try to at least, man, give a little bit to the people to uplift them. So Stet Dreams is a message record without being a message record. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because we really are attacking some of the stuff that happens and some of the stuff that people go through. And when I say people, it's really the women that these women are going through. Because man, they going through it, bro. You know what I'm saying? He never say he love you. You know what I'm saying? He never says he love you.
Who's done the hook? Who's
It's
done the hook?
true. That's my man Calvin the Third. He do a lot of records with me. That's my man Calvin. And then when we did the African version, Calvin is singing, but we got also a female and a male African singer doing the hook and some, it's dope. It's dope.
Okay.
Like when we release the single and everything, it's gonna be. Trust me, there's a plan here. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yo, yo,
Is there's a plan here.
That's gonna be
you
nice for the
wanna
summer.
love that. It's like we as rappers we love to talk about the home and the bitches, excuse my language, and that's just a record that talks about the woman that ain't bitches and the woman that ain't home. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that's what that's about.
which will definitely be appreciated. Um, eh, I'm good. So the next one is another one of my top five. Here we go again. Um, I love the drums on this. Um, and I just love the vibe on that. So what's the story behind that one? I actually
Starts with
pictured
Delight.
Johnny Gill singing the hook of that one, singing that because the chorus on that. But yeah,
But
it's
we do have a
another one of my
classic R&B singer on that.
who is
But
it?
starts with Delight. So D, go ahead with the Here We Go Again.
Oh man. Here we go. Here we go again. Is our coming back around. You know what I'm saying? You know what they say? What goes around comes around. You know what I'm saying? Again, and this is lightning striking again, but it's going to strike in a different way because we have our experience to actually lean on. You know what I'm saying? Why are we up under what I call reconstruction and putting our music again? Here we go again, carry us back into the fold, back into the industry where we always belong. I mean, have we continued to record after Blood, Sweat, but No Tears? I think we would have been on our 20th album right now.
Wow.
Point blank.
Yeah, I mean,
I
Bobby
miss
did.
the industry. I miss the industry. We miss the industry as far as putting out music. And so we're doing it to let people know what not only what grown man art will look like, but also to let them know that as elders in the industry, right, that we'll be able to show them what we really could look like. Because you got Mick Jagger, you got Elton John, you got all these other old, groups. You know, you got the Isley Brothers and so forth and so on. So here we are. Here we go again. You know what I'm saying? So we just salivating at the opportunity to put our music at this day and time. You know what I'm saying? That will appear that will appear or not appeal. Appeal. That's what the word is. That would appeal to all genders.
Yeah.
Genders, that is.
Yeah.
And my Here We Go Again stories. I feel like that's the Lito Brigante breakout record. Like I love Wise on everything on this album, but Bobby Paul Delight, me and Daddy O again. What? What? Bobby Paul Delight, me and Daddy O again. I'm like, all right, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like I think Wise really put his foot in that rhyme. Like I because when we did Here We Go Again, remember, we on our 6th video. This will be the first video after the album drop. But prior to the album, we done dropped 5 videos. So Here We Go Again is the second video. When people heard it, there was so many people, and I love that who is that? I love the who is that question. So many people came to me and said, who is that? And then, or they go, that's Wise? And that, you don't understand how that warms my heart. Because that is what you're supposed to feel in 2024 from a classic hip hop artist. No disrespect to my peers, but I only have one peer that I think could sound exactly the way he sounded then. Only one of them can. And that's because he was so far advanced than the rest of us. Everybody else need to switch it up. Because everybody, if they sound like this, it's gonna sound old. It's gonna sound old. And that was even my argument with these guys, even though I don't think we sound old on Message to Our Music, but that was my argument with these guys when we talk about Message being the first record on the album, because I was like, I don't even want to be confused with sounding old. You know what I mean? And so I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't worry about me no more. Yo, Delight, mute your phone, man. I don't even
Yo,
worry about me.
Pick me up something over there. Go get
That's
some
right.
eggs, Delight.
Yeah. I don't even worry about me, but man, I just feel like here we go again. To me, that's the breakout Lito Brigante record. To me.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely, I definitely got to say that too. You know what I'm saying? When I put that rhyme together, I know the guys was between Daddy O and Delight. They like, yo, that's the best rhyme I ever heard Wise say. And I was like, you know, but it's true because you know that set it off for everything else. You know what I'm saying? Because when we did Now Y'all Giving Up Love, you know, that's all three of us, you know, doing our thing. But here we go again, is we're doing our own individual rhymes and stuff. That Delight writing his, Daddy O wrote his, I wrote mine and stuff. And you know, and I said, well, let me start off with this track right here and give it a different type of spin that I never gave it before. Because in Blood, Sweat, and No Tears, you don't hear Lito Brigante on there. You hear Wise. You know what I'm saying? On this album, you definitely hearing somebody completely different than Blood, Sweat, and No Tears. Because, and I'll be honest, in Blood, Sweat, and No Tears, I mean, I did okay. You know what I'm saying? My worst rhyme to me, in my opinion, was No BS Allowed. I hated that rhyme. And I said, man, I wish I can do that track over again now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now I reinvent myself as Chris Jericho.
Yeah, Chris Jericho. Yeah. I was like,
Chris Jericho.
Who is Chris Jericho? So, but Bobby, I mean, as I said, I heard the drum. Was that you playing live on that as well?
Yeah. So me and Daddy both said, from now on, when we do this album, man, we just gotta just do what we here to do, and that's the live instrumentation. Even on this new album we started now, everything is live. We're moving from the sample phase. We may scratch some stuff in, but we're moving from the sample phase and just go back to what we normally do. I tell people this all the time, man. When we talk about Stetsasonic, I say y'all have to realize that the On Fire album, literally, there's no samples on that album. That's a stripped down album. It's stripped. It's nothing but scratches and stripped down. Nothing is sampled. Nothing is looped in a sample.
Not even Bust That Groove is a sample.
Not even Bust That Groove. It's all scratched.
Yeah.
And I said we need to. Though Info Gear had to be one of the best, well-produced hip hop album of 1988, but I said, yo, D, man, we need to go back to that moment where we were thinking, as we always thought. You know, we thought we are that band. We are the Sly and the Family Stone and the new birth of hip hop, and that's the way we wanted to move. We definitely.
Yeah. And
I play live drums on
y'all got some
on it. I'm pretty much playing live drums.
And then you said,
thanks, man. Yeah, we're gonna keep it.
You were talking about Johnny Gill.
Yeah.
So we got, I don't want to say one better, but we got a little more classic, because that's Lilo Thomas singing the hook.
Yeah, that's Lilo Thomas.
So that's a little more classic than Johnny Gill.
Yeah, Lilo Thomas is actually the 3 top 20 R&B albums. So he's like an R&B crooner from the 80s, worked with Freddie Jackson and
Lil G, but God.
Yeah, Melba Moore. So yeah, he's that's him. He did the hook on that for us.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it added to it. I mean, it's and then you had the drums that so you had it almost like old meets new. So yeah, definitely love that track. Notes to impressions.
Notes of
Notes of
impression.
impression.
It's notes of
So
impressions. Yeah.
when Delight gave me that title, I was like, what the hell are we supposed to do with that?
Yes. What is the title? Please tell us what that
Notes of
title
impression.
means.
I'm like, the notes of impression. Like I never even heard a damn title like that. So I'm like, what the hell are we supposed to do with that? But this what happened with notes. And Bobby can add on. But what happened with notes was Bobby often, he did this with Cypher too. Bobby often goes, D, I'm telling you, man, you trust me, right? You trust me, right? I know something is coming after you trust me, right? You trust me, right? And I'm like, yeah, of course I'm gonna say yes. And then he goes, I'm about to send you something, and just tell me what you think. So when he sent it to me, I had already did a record with Rusty Jukes last year called Gods and Dope Fiends, which is actually one of my biggest solo records. The record fire. He sent me the record with Jukes. Like he sent me the Rusty Jukes verse. And I was like, oh, okay. And so usually the way it happens, I mean, at least in this album, the process has been me shipping it off to Wise, and Delight usually plays the cleanup. You know what I mean? And when I sent it to Wise, Wise was like, oh, I see. You know what I mean? Because we knew, right? Because Jukes is that's a Sean P protege. Rusty Jukes is not a joke. To me, you hear me say on a million records and in a million interviews that Sean P's the best that did it. Maybe there's other people that believe it's somebody else. I believe it's him. You know what I mean? Sean P is my favorite. Like in terms of if I have to classify it that way, right? So Jukes really came with it, but he also came with it on some real like who does an appreciation rhyme? Like who does that? I have never seen that done in my life, except for back in the day. And it wasn't really guys writing about each other, but like if you heard Flash and them back in the day in a party, you might hear Creole say, he's the buckaroo or the boogaloo, all the young ladies flop when you know what I mean? He would say Cowboys rhyme. Or you might hear Mr. Ness say Melly Mel's rhyme. You know what I mean? Like that's the way they appreciated each other. But you hardly ever heard an MC write a rhyme about another MC. That's where J. Cole gets the props for writing I Let Nas Down, right? But when we heard this rhyme, it's not like Jukes didn't get himself off, but man, he really like laid it down. You know what I mean? He did. He even talks about, you know what I'm saying? He talked about the new records, you know what I'm saying? Now y'all giving up love, you know what I'm saying? Bang, I'm with you like Bobby on the drums. I'm like, okay. So that's why my first line on that jet, they told me, wish upon a star, I shot it out the sky. I said, I gotta come with something. My first line after coming after Jukes, gotta be crazy. And I called Rusty Jukes. I said, yo, my first line is they told me reach upon a star, I shot it out the sky. He said, go ahead, Daddy, yo, go ahead. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I mean, I it's dope. It's 4 verses. It's not a lot of dope records with 4 verses. My favorite 4-verse record is Stan by Eminem. But there's not a lot of records with 4 verses. I love that part. We got a lot of hip hop off in that record. Like that Notes of Impression is way more MC than it is rapper any day. That's a hip hop record with what's the name of that record, Bobby? Scratching? What's that record?
Yeah. It's cool in the gang. Cool is back.
Yeah, Cool is back. You know what I mean? Like it's very hip hop. You know what I mean? And I love that. And again, my guy showed up. You know what I mean? Like that's that you can't wish for more. You know what I mean? Than your guy showing up. You know what I mean? And my guy showed up. And it was a lot of my guys, like my street friends, the ones that, you know, when we be around, if you put on a camera, they say, yo, get that camera out my face. A lot of those guys like Notes of Impression better than everything else on the album.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
My real street massive. Shout out to everybody coming home.
Gotcha. Delight, where did you come up with that title, brother?
Oh my gosh.
Look, he's scratching.
Yo, after listening to Juke Drive and then Daddy O Ride, and then because we didn't label, it was labeled something else, but then I said, yo, we should label it Notes of Impression because that's what the record is about. You know what I'm saying? It's about leaving an impression. You know what I'm saying? So take notes. That's all.
Okay.
And y'all did.
So if when track 9, now people might say, okay, Stet's anniversary, you know, you use the Tony anniversary sample. You got one of my previous guests on the Good Friend Law. I didn't realize was he singing on it? Because it was a feeling I was hearing.
Yeah, that's him and Tony Marsh together.
Okay.
Yeah, that's him and her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So he's from you guys. I mean, have you known him for long? Is he out from Brooklyn as well?
Yeah, Law's from Brooklyn. I've known Law. Me and Law been friends for years. I've known Law since because you know I hang out with George Clinton a lot. You know, George Clinton is like his protege from the P-Funk All-Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cool dude, man. A great musician as well. Fantastic musician.
Yeah, great on.
Yeah, he's an incredible dude. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, but this is something that I didn't realize is because we all know the Go Brooklyn. You know, I think Mary had it on her what's the 411, and it's been on other.
Who didn't have it?
Yeah, I didn't realize that it was you guys who started. I mean, how so. I listened to it and says, yeah, we came up with it. So then I had to go listen to the original track and see it brought it in there. But what was the idea behind, okay, we're going to use the Tony sample and pretty much try to reintroduce ourselves to those who might not have known what we did?
Well, Stetson Anniversary is probably the most, remember I was talking earlier about the we back lyric type of stuff. Mm-hmm. The one thing I did tell the guys is I said, if we got any levity, right, with the whole, I did this, we're back, blah, 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 it will be the anniversary record, right? Because it makes sense, right? You're not making a record saying, I'm back. You're not making a record saying, oh, I did this and you didn't. We're not making that kind of record. But if you're making a record based on an anniversary, then you could talk about the things that led you up to anniversary, right? Because an anniversary is a celebration of things that you did, right? Or accolades that you achieved. You know what I'm saying? In 85, I was known for kicking beats. Performed at Madison Square. You know what I'm saying? But if you knew Stet, you knew that we was rocking. And then the act coming behind us was a dead man. You know what I'm saying? That's it. You know what I'm saying? And I talked about how it started, how me and Delight met in the Ansar community. That's where I met Kedar. Like I talked about, like that was the one record that we could talk about the history of Stetsasonic. Because we don't normally, like, I don't know if normally is even the right word, but we don't usually, right, just talk about the history of Stetsasonic, right? Or that's the cool thing about being in rap, right? That's the cool thing about like that the genre that we're in, because that opportunity, because we talk on records. Not to say singers couldn't do it, but it maybe nowadays R&B singers, some of them will do whatever. Some will walk, all of them, they'll do whatever. But back in the day, R&B singers kind of had to sing, love songs and, all of that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But with rap, we could talk about almost anything. I mean, look, I always say Run DMC had a platinum single talking about sneakers, right? I mean, it's just, we could talk about anything because we talk on record. So we can actually talk about our history because the platform allows that. And so that's really what the whole Stetson anniversary is about. You know what I mean? Is that kind of situation, and just being able to talk about, some of the things that we did, how we started, and me being slick. And I remember being black when y'all was, wearing all white. Now y'all on stage wearing white. Where they do that at? Like, where they do that at? You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm slick all the time about that. Now you're on stage with the band. When the F was that in your plans? Like, come on, knock it off.
Yeah.
Knock it off. You know what I'm saying? Really, knock it off. Like, all of y'all need to go back to having a DJ.
When you look at the fact that everyone's sampling "Hey Brooklyn" or "Go Brooklyn," it's, as a group who came up with it, is there a sense of pride in that, or is it a sense of, hey, why are you ripping us off? Or what's it like for you guys?
Sense of pride.
Yeah.
It definitely makes us feel good because that, Go Stetson, that's no doubt Brooklyn's anthem, Brooklyn's first anthem.
Yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Nobody could deny that and stuff. That's Brooklyn's first anthem.
That's Brooklyn's first
Cutmaster
robbery
DC,
record. Now let me stop.
Cutmaster DC, he did his thing too with Brooklyn and stuff, and but at this point we just took it to a completely different level, and it's always been that Brooklyn anthem.
Yeah,
And that's
because it's
something
a
we
chant.
proud of.
Yeah, because it's a chant. So it's definitely like always a sense of pride in terms of, when people do it. Even shout out to the girl Her, because Her used it in one of her, she used it in one of her records. You know what I mean? Like, shout out to everybody, you know what I'm saying, that uses it. And if you notice, God bless the dead, Mr. C just passed, but when he did pass, I posted something on my page because we had did a show in Brooklyn, and he actually made everybody like acknowledge that Biggie couldn't have did Where Brooklyn At if we didn't do the Go
If
Brooklyn.
we didn't,
You know what I mean? And so, but yeah, I mean, and again, man, old school saying, it ain't over till the fat lady sing, all of that kind of stuff. I mean, that's just the reality of it. It's like, maybe 33 years ago, you didn't know it was us that did it. But you know what I'm saying? With the introduction of a new album and some of the things that we're doing, now you do know we did it. You know what I mean? And there's more where that came from, because there's a lot of things we started. Let me just say this one, and I don't care who argues with me. Prince Paul is the father of trap. I'll leave it there.
Oh, wow. That's a hot take.
I can prove that. I can prove that.
But I do want to just kind of, I don't know if you guys get enough flowers for, because I'm from Harlem, right? And
right.
In the 80s, people don't understand how there's such a big monopoly on here. If it was Bronx, then it was Queens and Harlem, right? Y'all kicked the door down. It was Houdini, but y'all put a Brooklyn stamp on the game in the 80s that did not exist before y'all did it. And so if y'all have not gotten enough vocal flowers for that, like, here you are, because like y'all made the anthem. I know you were joking, Daddy-O, and you said it's the robbery anthem, but I heard the stories.
Yeah, that's real. That's all.
Yeah.
No cap, bro.
Yeah.
Like the young kids say, no cap, man. I watched Madison Square Garden turn into something else that night, bro.
Right. Like the 90s would have people.
You know how you
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say the 90s would have people thinking Brooklyn always at the top, because hip hop was very Brooklyn heavy in the 90s, but in the 80s it took a minute to kick that door down, and y'all kicked it down. So shout out to you.
Yeah, but you know how real that record is. Meaning, on the topic we talking about, like a crime theme song. You ever saw the movie Nothing to Lose with Martin Lawrence and what's the white guy name? He was
Tim Robbins or something.
when
Tim
Tim
Robbins.
Robbins, yeah.
right. It's called Nothing to Lose.
Mm.
If you see the scene when he wants to go into his boss's office to get the letter out the machine, what's playing?
Yeah,
Go Brooklyn.
yeah.
Go Sessa is playing when they going up the stairs to go rob his boss's room. It's going go Brooklyn, go Brooklyn, and then the drums come in. It's like it's a stamp of approval.
Yeah.
In that movie.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Brooklyn keeps on taking it.
Yeah, we was, and it wasn't the intention, but it's just like we come from that element. Like, you know what I'm saying? We definitely come from that element. Like, I'm from East New York. Wise from East New York. Bobby from Brownsville. Like, no disrespect to Bed-Stuy and all, but we not from there. Like, where we from, they never came there. Outside of Brooklyn, you don't come there.
I spend my summers in Brownsville. Shout out to my cousins at Cephalo.
Shout out to Cephalo.
But the thing I want to let the world know through this interview, that Stetsasonic, we tried to open up a whole thing because back in the day, we didn't get an album, but we did our first album on $8,000.
$8,000, yep.
That's how. That's what we paid for that On Fire album. The thing about it is that we tried to show and prove to the naysayers that even some of the labels when they say players, because they didn't think that hip hop would ever go this far. You know what I'm saying? So when we was doing music, we were doing music for the purpose of showing and proving that, yeah, we can do it out. And we can do hip-hop jazz. We can do live drums with no samples. We can do that. We can do with a band. That's what it was all about. To show and prove that this music, hip-hop, and its culture is forever in this realm.
You know, and I guess what Malik was saying about, for those of us who aren't from New York, I know Harlem's got especially New Jack, we heard a lot from Harlem, Queens, we got a lot of, but I don't think I heard a lot on the Bronx as the origin of hip hop. So I don't think we did hear about Brooklyn. But then if you got into hip hop in the 90s, you'd think Brooklyn, Biggie and Jay-Z and everyone was saying Brooklyn. That became like, oh, that must be the mecca of music. But going back 10 years prior, no one was saying Brooklyn. And I guess that's something that's, it's quite easy to forget. But the fact that anthem, was present during hip hop soul and other hip hop tracks was pretty much an homage to the fact that you guys, the legacy that you guys had. So it's good that you had a way of in Stets anniversary to sort of, I'm listening to, I'm like, oh, okay. So you guys said I had to go listen to the original track. I'm like, oh, damn, that's the track that I've heard and everyone else just hyping up and stuff. So that's, just good that the way you did it and stuff. It is number 4 of my top 5. Before we get to the other, so you desecrated one of my favorite tracks from Sesame Street. I remember as a kid, and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna learn about Who's in the Neighborhood, and then you guys desecrated
that was my idea. That was my idea. Because the thing about it is that, coming up in Brooklyn, we did see people like that. You know what I'm saying? And that is people like that in everybody's neighborhood, really.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them may be on the down low, but they're there.
Did you have to get clearance from Sesame Street to use the track? I mean, I'm like thinking I will just. Oh, okay.
They'll appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
What I thought was dope was y'all making a conscious effort to make that a beatbox track.
Yes,
like,
is that
still
you
keeping
guys?
that element.
Yeah, I told Daddy O, because we had did that track like a while ago, and I told Daddy O, I said, yo, I said we should put People in the Neighborhood on the album, because Blood, Sweat, No Tears did not have a human beatbox track on it, if you think about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I said let's put, since a lot of people, because we did put it out, but you know, it was on a very small platform and stuff, you know. We did put it out, but the thing about it is that I told Daddy O, I said, you know, I said it'll be kind of humorous, because you know, from time to time we have a little humorous thing, like with Faye and stuff, you know, we have our little humorous thing going on and stuff, and people will relate to it.
Yes.
They will definitely relate to it. And then coming in, you know, like a human beatbox thing. We haven't done a human beatbox track in a hot minute, and I said, why not put that on the album? I think that would be the perfect track, you know, human beatbox track to put on there, and it would get the exposure that it didn't get before.
It was genius.
Yeah, it did fulfill some missing. So People in the Neighborhood's the last record that, even after Cypher. So Cypher was almost the last record to get made on the album until we added People in the Neighborhood, and it fulfilled, you know, a few gaps. But the two major gaps, I think, was one, we definitely have humor. You know, all throughout the Stetsasonic records, there's humor, right? And so it definitely fulfilled the humor part. And then the other part was what Wise was saying, because Wise was like, you know, Daddy-O, we beat heavy on this record, you know what I'm saying? We lyrical heavy, you know, we solidified in that. But there is a portion, it may not be everybody, but there is a portion of our fan base that really do and would miss the human beatbox. You know what I mean? And he ain't never lied, because man, the people, the response I got from People in the Neighborhood, I couldn't even believe it, man. I really couldn't believe it, bro. I'm like, what? They like, yeah, man. I'm listening to the album when that joint came on. I put it on repeat. I'm like, really? They're like, yo, really? Because they was like, yo, I missed that. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing I gotta give, man. Again, man, you know, I'm always propping up my guys. One thing I gotta give Bobby, right, is, you know, we're into sound, and it's important. And I know it's all being reduced to an MP3. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff to say about, you know, modern sound, right? So besides for Tidal, and there's another one, you don't really even get full audio, right? Spotify and all the rest of that stuff is mad crunched. I mean, you know, just, you know, note to self and note to y'all. You really want to hear better audio, listen, you know, just listen to your music on Tidal. It's full. But we are into sound, and that is like, I don't know, man. That's such a pet peeve for Stetsasonic, man. If that thing don't like sound right, it's gonna bug the hell out of us, man. And so it's the same thing, to be able, because we've done it before. We did it with Faye before, and we did it with Stet Troop. We know how to make human beatbox records. We know how to do that. We really do. And this is from long time ago, man. I'm talking about going all the way back to Wise, going all the way back to Little Bighorn, right? We learned how to make records, and we taught engineers. You know, shout out to Bob Power, but we raised him. So when y'all see Bob Power on them D'Angelo records, and you see him on them Daylight records, we made him. We taught him. You know what I mean? We showed engineers how to make this thing pop. So the one thing about people in our neighborhood that I really love is the Sonics, because it could have been a stripped down kind of whack sounding record. Not to say it still wouldn't have been funny and all of that kind of stuff, but it wouldn't have it wouldn't have held up to the rest of the record. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't be able to play it next to Message in Our Music or next to Stet Dreams. It would have been like Stet Dreams, Message in Our Music, and then people in my room. You know what I mean? And so shout out to Bobby Simmons, man, because like he ain't never gonna let us fail sonically. Like here, that's not happening, bro.
Hey, Bobby.
The fifth song on my top 5 is so being out here in England, you know, one of our foremost R&B groups that really hit the world was Loose Ends, and you know, they did their thing representing the UK back in the late 80s.
Shout out to Loose Ends.
Yeah,
That's our man. That's our man, right, Bobby?
I saw what's her name? She was out here in New York a month last month. Eugene. That's what I saw.
Yeah. She lives out in the States now. Yeah, she lives out in the States. Yeah. But you have a track, Hanging on Strings, and yeah, as I said, beautiful track. Whose idea was it to bring to use that sample and to use that?
That was our manager, Courtney Benson.
Yeah, that was our manager. So our manager, Courtney Benson, who now manages Stetsasonic and Morris Day, for all of the high level days at the beginning of Nelly and the Saint Lunatics, he managed Nelly all those years.
Wow.
So Country Grammar, all of that, he managed them. The kid that did Country Grammar, this kid J.E., he did Hanging on a String.
Wow.
So, you know what I'm saying? It was just Courtney reaching out to J.E., yo, you got something for Stetsasonic. It got to be soulful. You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. And so he gave us Hanging on a String. And that's probably for me, that's my favorite Daddy-O rhyme on the whole album.
Wow.
Yeah, because I felt I felt real good. Like I feel real good. Like that rhyme, the way because I know where I was going with it, and I achieved it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was trying and I achieved what I wanted to say. You know what I mean? Like because I get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? The only thing I told the guys is let's just not make it a typical girl record.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's make it up.
Because my lyrics did start off like that because I was under the impression that that's where we were going. You know what I'm saying? And then when Daddy-O said not to go that way, I said, okay, let me switch it up.
Yeah, it's that cross you record. Like again, man, kind of going back into some of those earlier concepts that I was talking about. Like one thing I love about this, man. So I've been re-rapping or grab my mic again 2016, whatever you want to call it, right? The one thing I use rap for now is very, very therapeutic for me. Everything I want to say, I say in rap records. So even if you listen to my solo stuff from 2016 to now, all the way up to the Stetsasonic album, I say what I really believe in these records. You know what I mean? And so I went for that on Hanging on a String. You know what I'm saying? Because that happens all the time. And it gets so weird when you don't see the writing on the wall. Gets so weird. I should have knew a long time ago. If my mama was alive, she would say I was blind. You know what I'm saying? I should have seen it a long time ago. But here go me with my whatever. You understand what I'm trying to say? And then I love the fact that it's two things. So that's me. The Delight rhyme, a lot of people don't. You gotta hear the last word that Delight says on his rhyme. Do y'all know what the last word he says on his rhyme is?
Life.
It's life, and that's what he's talking about. And that's crazy right there. So now if you go back and listen to Delight's rhyme on Hanging on a String, you be like, oh. And then I love that Wise addressed the Fuquan issue because it was going to be the elephant in the room anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was going to be the elephant in the room. It was always going to be the elephant in the room. It was always going to be the elephant in the room. And Wise just came to the conclusion of like, you know what? I'm not going to let it be the elephant in the room anymore. I'm going to tell y'all what's going on. You know what I mean? And the cool part about Wise's rhyme is it's like the soundtrack of the unsung. You know what I mean? But it's dope. You know what I'm saying? It's real dope. So and I think Jay did his thing, man. I think he did his thing on Hanging on a String. Again, man, shout out to Bobby, man, you know, for making that record feel the way it feels. You know what I mean? Because, you know, one of the things that me and Wise always talk about, we've been talking about this forever, is, you know, we still do that same take it to the car. You know, we still do that. Take it to the car. If it's Bluetooth, whatever, aux cord, whatever, we take it to the car. Man, that Hanging on a String in the car. What?
Yeah.
That's a mean mug record right there, bro. You know what I mean? And you know, shout out to the UK because, you know, when we used to go to the UK, man. A lot of people don't know this, man, and this is probably the first time I'm ever saying it. But In Full Gear was shaped a lot by the United Kingdom because we learned about something in the United Kingdom called rare grooves.
Oh yeah.
And when we started like messing around with that, we was like, you know what I'm saying? Because again, going back to Sonics, when we used to go to the UK, nobody in the UK cheated on sound. You understand what I'm trying to say? They always went for it. I mean, I remember one time we were doing a Jimi Hendrix celebration in the meatpacking district in New York. And
the Black Rock Coalition.
With the Black Rock Coalition. And Bobby said, do you want to do it? I said, of course I want to do it, but what the hell are we going to do? And he brings out this Jimi Hendrix record that was only available on wax in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And we did that. You understand what I'm trying to say? It wasn't even it wasn't even available in the US, so you would never know Jimmy got that funky. But he had to actually, you know, leave Seattle, come over there and get that funky. But, you know, sonically, we've always loved that, the way R&B and the way the rare groove movement was in the UK. So, you know, it was
that groove was dope too. That was that boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And remember, we was arguing with the guy who said Jimmy never made a record like that. We had to bring the record for him.
We had to bring the record out and show the guy. You know what I mean? So you know, it was just So yeah, it's an ode to loose ends. It's an ode to the UK. It's an ode to rare grooves, and then then we answer a few questions.
Yeah, from a rapper's mind, from a writer's standpoint, I was gonna say you already said it, Daddy-O, but it's out of all the tracks on the album, it's the track where y'all show y'all distinct approaches, like 3 different approaches to verses on there. Yours is a story, right? You're like, we was just talking about LeBron, but anyway, back then. You said Wise's verses explain it, and Delight, your verse was pure poetry. It reminded me of like a child is born with no state of mind. You know,
right.
You know what I mean? That Jizza dropped the mic. So just wanted to point that out.
Hey, yo, Malik.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, yo, Malik, man. Are you telling people about our album, man? Because you definitely you on it right now, man. You gotta call some people and say, yo, man, are you listening to the Stet album, man?
I'm on it. Say no
He,
more.
he's definitely. Oh, we come to the last track. Malik, what are your thoughts on the remix of Fallen Soldiers?
Okay.
I think the original one used the Beatles come
Beatles.
together. Yeah.
Yes.
So what is your thought, Malik, on that before they answer?
It's wonderfully. I don't know if anyone's done it, right? We've lost so many people. There's a point where after the first verse, I'm like, damn, they done named everybody, and then you hear each. I'm like, oh, that's how sad it is that we have that many people who've fallen in this culture that y'all can fill 3 verses with.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm so glad y'all did it because y'all acknowledge the young, the old, the new, and the thing that threads it together is that we've all lost them. So well done. Well done.
Thank you,
It
sir.
needed to be said.
Thank you.
And,
Yeah, I
and
couldn't.
and even as we did it, there was still more soldiers falling. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
That was the
Even
crazy
as
part
we
about
did it.
Paul. Yeah, it was
Some
crazy.
we didn't put on the record like X Professor X from X Clan. There's a lot that got left off. You know.
Yeah, it was a tough decision, even, like whatever. But the way Fallen Soldiers came about was, I mean, I know people was affected. If you look at Now Y'all Giving Up Love, the beginning of the videos dedicated to Biz, like, I know people were affected. Mark was my man. We all grew up with Mark. I grew up right around the corner from Mark and Buff. You know what I mean? But something happened to me. I don't know. I still can't explain it because I didn't know Coolio really well. I might have met him once in my life. But when Coolio died, it touched me. I don't know why. And I called Wise and I said, Wise, I got an idea for a record called Fallen Soldiers, and I think it will fit. What do you think? He said, yeah. I said, because we're probably I don't know if we're the only, but I said it. We're probably the only guys that could get away with this. Right? Because I don't know if somebody else made it. Like, I don't know if you would accept. I keep asking myself, who else could have made Fallen Soldiers that people would have respected? You know what I mean? And not to say that, they whack, but it's like, first of all, it would have had to be done by, in my opinion, it would have had to be done by a group. Because one person doing it, that would have been a lot. That would have been a whole lot for one person to just be it could have even got boring. You know what I mean? And then I don't know many groups. Well, not many groups exist anymore, but I don't know many groups that could have did it. But when I thought about these two, I said, oh my God, because I know what voices I got. You know what I mean? And that's a big part for Stetsasonic. Like, voices is a big thing for us because of who we were raised by. You understand? I tell people all the time, I don't know if these guys agree, it's only one Mount Rushmore rap. It's only 3 people. It's only Kaz, Mel, and Mo. That's it. Everything else is a wash. Some people want me to put Curtis there. I won't. I just won't. So we had to grow up listening to these voices, man. And these voices were impactful, bro. So it wasn't only their rhymes that was impactful. It was the voice. They cutting through bone and marrow with these voices, man. You know what I mean? So having a group where I know that I could bounce off of 2 other guys that ain't nowhere near. Wise is gonna take what might be called the whatever. I don't know what the top note is. And then I'm gonna be in the middle, and then the light's gonna take the alto. I know what this is about to be. I know what it's about to be. That's how I knew Now Y'all Giving Up Love is gonna sound crazy. I knew it was gonna sound crazy because it's gonna sound ill for Wise to say something, for me to say something, for the light to say something. You know. I mean, it's just gonna be so. That was the approach, for Fallen Soldiers, was to just, try to do it. And then, like, I will say this: I can't listen to Fallen Soldiers. I've never listened to Fallen Soldiers and not cried, not once. And the part that makes me cry is when Y start talking about Eazy-E. Because if you knew our connection with this boy Eric Wright, and when he said bring him back to life because we want Easy, I'm like, damn. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, it's a dope record, but it wasn't the easiest record to write. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yo, bro, I mentioned 5 members of the Force MDs, bro.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
Only person still alive is Stevie, man.
Stevie, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of crazy. And then, Delight, definitely, I mean, I talked a little bit, you know what I'm saying, about Takeoff and all of that, but Delight definitely talked about, like, PNB Rock and Nipsey and all of them. Like, the way Delight summed it up is like, it's almost like him looking at me and Y saying, yo, it's still happening, y'all.
Still happening.
You know what I mean? And it's something to think about, man. It's definitely something to think about.
Well, that's the whole purpose, of that record. When you play that record, especially for the rappers, we got so many guys that's falling, and they're not falling because of natural causes. They falling because they shoot one another.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're on the street killing one another. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Bobby, when it comes to production, now, when I mentioned to people that Stetsasonic are coming out with a new album, the first name was, I'm sure Prince Paul did the production. I went on CD Clogs, and it's yourself and others do most of the production. And a lot of us have known Prince Paul as a producer. Was he not involved in producing, especially now that we're looking? Well, he didn't show up today. So what's how it decided?
Well, Paul was the first person that I talked to about the album before we started on Now Y'all Giving Up Love. At a point, he was with it, and then in the mix as we were beginning the album, certain things happened in his life that he had to take a step back. There was even a point where we did a concert and he wasn't able to make the concert because there was things going on in his life, so he took a step back. So what I did was I talked to the guys and said, hey, this Paul is really going through something now. So we just kind of gotta be there for him, and when he's ready, he'll be it. Paul is always a Stet supporter. He's our member. He's our family. But he wasn't able to really finish the album with us while we were moving. But he will be a part of this next album we're doing.
Okay.
So he will be doing production on this next album for sure.
Okay. Okay, that's done. So what can we expect from you guys over the next 6 months? Are we going to see you guys doing any shows? Are you going to do any touring? Because as I mentioned, it's a really impressive album, especially because we're not being fed good music or good food right now. So the fact that you guys really invested in that, what are you guys going to do with the music in front of fans? What should we expect?
Well, yo, we coming out to the UK. Can I speak to your UK people real quick? I'm gonna speak to your UK group. Let me explain something to y'all. We coming back out there. We coming back. We got a window to close out there.
Oh yeah.
Because when COVID happened, everything shut down. But we got a window to close. So all my peoples, I don't care if you're in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, London, Jazz Cafe, all of y'all, we coming back your way. We coming back your way for real. Y'all see us here. We all here. You see Daddy-O, you see Delight, you see Paul, Prince Paul. your Prince Paul and Wise, we all here. We coming back out there for y'all. So all my UK people, Germany, we actually gonna turn left to Paris too.
Okay.
And then we actually Australia. That's a whole other story. But we definitely got a pickup in Australia for January. So I just wanted to say that to all the UK people, man. Yo, we coming back out there. Stop playing with us.
Delight says something the other. I think it was last week. Delight says something, and he said it during this interview too. But he said it kind of quickly, and he talked about the concept of reconstruction, right? And so I think that really kind of represents what the future looks like. Like we literally are like reconstructing. So we're already working on the next album. We're actually working on the next 3 projects because like the next album, then there's this other thing that Delight wants to do that we might possibly do the whole thing with Funky DL. Y'all know who Funky DL is from the UK?
No.
All right, look up Funky DL. We might do that whole thing with Funky DL, and then there's a mixtape that we working on that Delight came up with as well. So, we don't look to stop recording anytime soon. We actually having a whole bunch of fun with it right now. So, that's a great thing. Touring possibilities, definitely. Probably, some daytime and nighttime television. I mean, that's another thing that we looking into. But I mean, we just want to keep it going for us, and we're hoping. I mean, because there's no guarantee. We're hoping that this sparks some interest, that it strikes a chord in our peers, right? Because I've been saying this forever. I've been saying this since 2016. If enough of us make dope records, right? It's not just us making records. When I say us, I mean classic hip hop. If enough of us make dope records, it can't just be records because sometimes records be whack. If enough of us make dope records, then you have what is called critical mass. And so now Spotify has to create a classic hip hop playlist at least. Apple Music has to create a classic hip hop playlist. You understand? Billboard. This is important. Even though I don't really mess with them like that. Billboard has to create a classic hip hop playlist because we're making it again. The only thing right now, shout out to LL Cool J. The only thing right now that's even maintaining any levity, right? Besides, programs like yours and podcasts, which, we're not playing music, we're talking, is Rock the Bells.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm trying to say? And that's it. And even on Rock the Bells, there's been 2-3 years straight that Stetsasonic is the only people on Rock the Bells with something new. They playing a lot of music, but then they playing Now Y'all Giving Up Love, and then they playing a whole bunch of 80s and 90s. They playing a lot of music, but then they playing Here We Go Again with a lot of you know what I mean? Like, so we're hoping, like I said, there's no guarantees, but we're hoping that we spark some interest and that we strike a chord in our peers where there becomes, some kind of groundswell. Because if we could just think about quantitatively and qualitatively, how people, at least you two guys, I'm gonna just use y'all as example, how you two guys look at Here We Go Again as a product. Imagine a product at least that good from Rakim, at least that good from Light, at least that good from Latifah, at least that good from Big Daddy Kane. A new Public Enemy record, at least that good. I could keep going. A new Special Ed record, at least that good. With that kind of quality, with that type of levity, with the kind of hooks, with great beat selection. And here's the shameless plug. Me and Bobby been talking about this for 2.5 years. We want to A&R all those records. We don't need to produce them. But we can A&R a record for any one of our peers right now. We can make a Kane record tomorrow. We can have 12 records to Kane tomorrow. Trust what I'm telling you. We can have 12 records to Rakim tomorrow. Trust what I'm telling you. And I'm telling you, if you hear, here we go again, because I don't need nobody, but technically, all I need is Bobby and Delight. Because D's gonna A&R my record and tell me, D, this is what Rakim needs to talk about. And he gonna be right. You understand what I'm trying to say? And then all I'm gonna say is, Bobby, this is the title, da-da-da-da. And say, okay, D, I'll figure out the beats or who to go to for the beat. You understand what I'm trying to say? And that's I mean, I did A&R most of my life. So that's the job of a good A&R. I ain't gotta make nothing. You know what I'm saying? All I gotta do is be the Quincy Jones or the, you know what I mean? But I don't need nothing. But it's the issue of, like, we miss these guys, man. We really do. You know, and doing a show with y'all. We just did a show with Kane, Chris, who else, Wise?
Public Enemy, Flavor
Light.
and Chuck. Yeah, Light.
That's okay. Yeah, and that's okay. But that doesn't satisfy. Yeah. That doesn't satisfy the longing. What's going to satisfy the longing is hearing new records by you guys.
Right.
Because we love those records. Like I said, you know, we still sitting. While I was just talking about Kane, I talk about sitting on Lyrics of Fury by Rakim or whatever. We love all of that. So and the thing is this is what the conclusion we came to, and it's on here. It's on the CD, on the there's a thing here called the Stetsasonic decision on the CD, and it'll explain it all. The conclusion that we came to was that we're doing our fans dirty if we don't make new music. And I know that sounds ugly or whatever, but that is the truth. Because what are you saying to your fans when you say, go back and listen to, I'm not telling you to not listen to Info Gear. I'm not telling you to not listen to Blood, Sweat, No Tears. And I'm definitely not telling you to not listen to On Fire. Definitely not that. Definitely listen to On Fire. But what I'm saying is, what are you telling your fans when you say, okay, this is what I have for you. It starts in 84, it concludes in 91, and that's all you get.
Yeah.
And just come out and see me perform. I feel like that's such a shoddy way to treat your fans, because I don't believe Jimi Hendrix would have treated his fans like that. I don't believe Miles Davis would have treated his fans like that. Prince, God bless his dead, before he passed, showed that he wouldn't treat his fans like that. Like, the greats don't treat their fans that way. The greats don't. Now, maybe the foo-foos do, but the greats don't. And so that's all I'm saying is, for us as a culture of classic hip-hop musicians to prove that, I think we got to make new music. I you know what I'm saying, think to be nice. But the daddy-o in me say, I know we got to make new music.
No. Yeah. We hear that. And we see that movement happening with some of the 90s guys. I know Nas, he put out 3 back-to-back albums, and he said,
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he said he wished more people from his era would keep doing it. And so naturally, your message is, you know, we talk about
to the 80s guys. Yeah.
Right.
Yo, Malik, that's the title. Here we go again. It didn't just apply to this album. It was applying to all my peers. Here we go again.
Yeah.
Period.
I mean, I've kept you guys for a long time, and I really appreciate the fact that you guys, you know, were brave enough to go through each of the tracks. As I said, I am definitely a massive fan of the album, and I posted the
Thank you, sir.
there. I know that there's a lot of DJs who I can't wait for the vinyl to come out or the CD. So definitely they're going to be looking for that. I mean, Bobby, if people want to either buy the stuff, buy the physical copies, and also follow you guys, where should they go?
Okay, everybody, if you want to please pick up the brand new Stetsasonic album. Here we go again. You can go to Stetsasonic.com. That's where you can pick it up, and you can also go to what's the other one?
Our Stetsasonic Bandcamp. You could
Our
go straight to the
Stetsasonic
Stetsasonic Bandcamp, and you could
Bandcamp.
go to you could go to the site because we distribute it by Spitslam, and all the Spitslam records are up there. So,
right,
yeah.
and everybody you can also follow us at the real, not the official. Everybody keeps saying the official. No, it's at the real Stetsasonic on IG. It's at the real Stetsasonic. You can follow us there. Also, you can follow me at BSBVBK. You can follow Wise. Where they follow me at, Wise?
Wise_Stetsasonic on Instagram, and Facebook is Wise Roman.
Okay, Daddy-O, you Professor
Daddy-O, one word everywhere.
All right, there you go. And for anybody that's looking to book us, you can book us. You can reach our manager at Courtney Benson at Courtney Benson Management, or you can reach us at
It's Benson Management on It's Benson Management on IG. He always answers too.
Right.
And plus, you can reach me at Marvin Wright 98, like the old
Marvin Wright. Okay, there you go. And they can reach us if you want to book us, do some bookings at stetsasonic.bs@gmail.com. So shout out to you. Shout out to all.
Oops.
Muted.
Bobby,
Yeah,
you
he
muted, man.
Oh, you got me?
Muted.
Yeah, we got you back.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Can
Yeah.
you get me?
Yeah.
Also, shout out to all our people in the UK. We coming for y'all. I keep saying it because I want them to know we coming for them. And please pick up the brand new album. Here we go again. Worked hard on it. Shout out to Darlene. She be representing, holding us down. Shout out to our manager. Yeah, shout out to our manager Courtney. Shout out to everybody. Yeah, shout out to everybody, man, that just purchased the album. Marla Rains, Smooth the Hustler, Rusty Jukes, Spit Slam, Chuck D, and all the radio people. Everybody.
We gotta put my man Big Love as well as K-Mall, Kenyatta
All
Mall.
right. And shout out to all the radio people, Rock the Bells, LL Cool J, everybody that just showed us love when we dropped this album. Once they heard the album was coming out, they called. We showed up, unsung. We showed up, and we appreciate all of them, man. So we salute y'all, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach out to Darlene to help me get all everyone's Instagram stuff and all the details for management, so that as the videos are, this is live, but it'll be in the description, so people can just be able to, as they watch it, they can just be able to click it. So I'll reach out to them, to Darlene, so she can send me everyone's Instagram and Facebook details and stuff. Malik, it's been great having you here, but can you tell the fans who are looking to considering, like, should we download or buy the new Stetsa album, why we should do so?
Why would you do so?
Yeah, why should we?
Yeah, tell him, Malik. Tell him, Malik.
We're talking about 40 years in hip hop. 40 years contribute to the culture, even though 33 of those years have been album free. Like they said, they never stopped touring. And they come in with bars, they come in with beats, they come in with live instrumentation. And this is your legend showing you that it doesn't stop. That's why.
Peace.
There you go. You go.
So Malik, hit me on Instagram, man. We got a bill, brother.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit y'all. I would love to have y'all on to review any of your previous albums, your classics. And listen, man, I've given y'all flowers early, but I want to give y'all some more flowers because y'all self-destruction changed my life personally. In the projects of Cephalo, first time seeing that video. That's the song that made me want to rap. And just want to give y'all flowers for what y'all have.
Thank you, sir.
Put on the map. Yeah, I got a ton more questions I could ask, but it's been a pleasure. Namdi, thank you. Y'all be on the lookout for our Heavy D episode coming out soon.
Cool.
Malik, are you going to tell people how they can follow you, Malik? Because Malik, as I said, he did it. He interviewed me recently, and we went through the living large, and I thought, you know what, when I wanted to interview you guys, I just said, let me get Malik to support me on this. But Malik, if people want to follow you on YouTube and IG, what where can they look for?
Yep, just hop on over. Hopefully Namdi puts my link in when the video's up too. But
Yeah.
F a Rap Critic, that's the name of the channel. We really break down classic albums, you know, in detail, so we can just not, you know, have all those barbershop debates. So
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, with that,
Appreciate
I mean, guys, as I said, I think what we're looking for is live music. That's why I like the Roots, but I know you guys did it first. But the reason why the Roots are appreciated now is because they go on live and they put on a show, and I know that that's what you guys did and are doing now. So the fact that you've got new material to support that, as I said, I love the drums on some of these tracks, and I know that actually you guys are going to kill it on stage. So I appreciate the fact that you guys spent the last 2 hours and 40 minutes
wow.
chatting with us live.
Yeah.
It might not have seemed that long, but it is that long. It's about 20 minutes to 1 a.m. here in the UK. So it is a
All
long
right.
time. Yeah, so it is
Late
a
night
long
talk with
time.
Namdi.
Ready,
Late
Hey,
night
ready
talk
to
with
take that
Namdi.
off.
It's Guinness
Ready to
Stout
take
and
that
Nick's
off, man.
time.
Yeah, oh, it's mixed time for sure.
It's
Yeah.
Guinness Stout and
Oh,
Nick's
word.
time right now.
Hey, yo,
Yeah.
Bobby, I also got to shout you out, brother. Your public access show back in the 90s gave me all the exclusives, brother. So
Oh, appreciate it, man. Appreciate that.
Video.
Thanks.
new flavor videos.
Yeah. But you guys
Nice.
appreciate everything. As I said, Dolly would be able to send me every detail. I'll post that up. Guys, go to Joe. I've put the post of the playlist of their new album, the ones on YouTube. But you listen to it, then go buy the actual physical copy to listen in your car, or play the vinyl. It is really impressive what you guys have done, and the fact that you're still working on album 2 and 3 is just incredible. So, but I can't wait to see you guys live as well. But definitely, it's been a privilege and it's been
Oh,
an honor.
you'll be right. You'll be right there front and center with us, brother, when we get to the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you a tip though. When you come see Stetsasonic, they're gonna give you backstage passes. Do not watch the show from backstage. You will miss it.
Yeah.
Just you got
Yep.
your backstage pass. Go in the front, see the show, then come back and hang out with us when we done. Because if you
There you
watching
go.
our backs, you're not gonna get that heat.
yeah,
I do that with all my. We just did a show with PE. Me and Wise was right there in the front when Chuck and them was performing.
Yeah.
Because you don't get it from the back. Like
Yeah.
you feel privileged,
Yeah.
yeah, but like that ain't it.
Yeah, you don't get to see the show like it's in your face. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yep.
No, definitely.
And backstage passes get you. Hey, backstage passes get you front and center in the front, so you ain't got to be in the. Not to say that it's
Yeah.
even bad from the high seats, but from the front is real dope.
Just before we quick, what's the relationship you guys have with Chuck and Public Enemy? Are you guys work? Are you are they supporting you guys, or you guys,
Yeah, we've been so so I'll tell you this story real quick. So 19 I want to say 87. We go out. Actually, we did it twice, but the first time we go out on tour. That tour is headlined by two people or two acts. LL Cool J and Houdini are the headliners of that.
wow,
Step Down is Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh
Rakim,
Prince.
Jazzy Jeff.
No. Step Down is Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince and the Get Fresh crew, because the Get Fresh crew used to come on the weekends. Step down from that, in the very middle is Eric B and Rakim. And then the two opening acts before EPMD came on, the two opening acts in the beginning is Stetsasonic and Public Enemy. Now, all of those acts that I just told you all had their own bus. Houdini had a bus, LL had a bus, Dougie had a bus, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince had a bus, Eric B. and Rakim had a bus. Public Enemy and Stetsasonic, the two biggest acts on the bill, shared a bus.
Wow.
So we toured with PE and we shared a bus. Now here's the magic of that bus. Out of that bus came 3 of the most incredible albums that hip hop would ever see to date. One is called It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back, being written on that bus. Another one is called In Full Gear, being written on that bus. And on the back of that bus, most nights, very quietly, is a little 17-year-old producer from Long Island writing a record called 3 Feet High and Rising. All 3 of those records came out of that bus. But we've been down with them for the longest time. I started doing these solo records again in 2016. My partner Lion asked me, should I let Chuck hear it? Me and Chuck been friends for years. I never did business with Chuck. I was like, sure. What? He was like, oh, you don't know Chuck got this Spit Slam situation. At that time, it was called Spit Digital. Chuck got this Spit Slam situation. I was like, okay. And then he heard the record. He was like, yo, man, Chuck wants to play it on, he got a little show called And You Don't Stop. He wants to play it on And You Don't Stop Friday and drop it on iTunes on Monday or something like that. And I had no idea what none of this was about. And I was like, okay. And so I've been making these records with Spit Slam ever since. And so it was just a natural fit when we started to do it, because the distribution and all of that was already in place, that we did that. But I mean, it's funny that you say that, because I just talked to my video guy, and he was just asking me, he was like, because you're seeing a lot of tours come up, like the Roots is going out with Arrested Development and Diggable Planets. And my video guy just asked me, man, what about, y'all and Public Enemy going out again? So, it's a thought. We it's definitely a thought. Kind of depends on, kind of where P is. And then, me and Bobby is looking into some other things that might be a little more music and I don't want to say less hip hop, but a little harder. Put it that way.
I mean, they had a big.
But yeah, I mean, no, but we have a great relationship with Chuck. I've always had a great relationship with Chuck. And, even on this album, Chuck is one of the executive producers on this album.
Okay. I mean, the Public Enemy had a massive hit back in the Olympics here, Harder Than They Fall. I don't know. Harder Than
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that was massive all over the UK and all over Europe and stuff. So, but it reminded me a lot of what you were doing on your drums, Bobby, on some of these tracks. So, once you guys get out there to promote it, there's definitely a big market for it and stuff. But as I said, I've kept you guys for nearly 3 hours, so appreciate it. We're gonna keep it tight, and I'm out here to appreciate everything that you guys done. Thanks, Malik, for taking time as well. Coming out to support us as well. And hopefully next time we'll get Paul as well, so to show that
yes,
as you guys promote the second and third and stuff.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We will be back.
No, Steph.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, baby.
Shout out to Delight in the car the whole time. I know you ready.
I know, right? Delight ready to get to that Knicks game.
I know, right? Step on the gas, Delight.
Yeah, Reggie Miller actually there tonight, so we gonna do it in your face, boy.
All right, y'all.
All right, y'all.